Chapter 98. Nothing. Jiang Yuechu immediately averted her gaze, a hint of panic flashing through her eyes. At this moment, Ji Yu suddenly remembered that Jiang Yuechu hadn't eaten anything yet. He immediately stood up and said, "Speaking of which, you haven't eaten anything yet. I'll bring you to eat something." "No." Jiang Yuechu was just about to refuse when she saw that Ji Yu had already walked out of the door. She had no choice but to follow him. "What do you want to eat?" Ji Yu was worried about Jiang Yuechu's identity. "You might not be used to the food around here. Why don't you go back to the city lord's residence?" After all, Jiang Yuechu was the eldest daughter of the city lord's residence. She was probably used to eating all sorts of delicacies. It was very likely that she wouldn't be used to eating commoners' food. "No need." Jiang Yuechu shook her head slightly and said, "I can eat anything." She had just tasted her own masterpiece. Now, she really could eat anything as long as it wasn't too bad. Moreover, she really wanted to try what kind of food the commoners ate. "Then come with me. Don't regret it when the time comes." Ji Yu said, "Okay." Jiang Yuechu nodded firmly. Soon, Ji Yu brought Jiang Yuechu to a tea house. He had been to this tea house before. It was the time when he was picked on by 3 ignorant men. When Ji Yu walked into the tea house, many people had already recognized him. "Look, that's Ji Yu. He's here again. I heard that Ji Yu taught those 3 ignorant men a lesson last time. I don't know what those 3 men's brains are made of. How dare they provoke Ji Yu?" "Yeah, those 3 men are brainless." Ji Yu dared to make a move on Chunyin in front of the Kanglan Empire Academy's teachers. He's a very ruthless person. Wait, there seems to be a young girl behind him. This young girl, isn't she the city lord's eldest miss, Jiang Yuechu? Everyone started whispering to each other, especially when they saw Jiang Yuechu behind Ji Yu. Their discussion became even more intense. F*CK, it's true. The eldest daughter of the city lord's mansion also came along. I've only heard that the relationship between the second miss of the city lord's mansion and Ji Yu isn't ordinary. I didn't expect that the first miss would also have a relationship with Ji Yu. Could it be that both sisters are together with Ji Yu? F*CK, Ji Yu really is a winner in life. Not only is her innate talent incomparably strong, she also has a pair of beautiful sisters accompanying her. I'm so envious. For a moment, the whole tea house was noisy. Ji Yu completely ignored the surrounding voices and said to Jiang Yuechu, "You can order what you want. I've already eaten, so there's no need." Although the things that she ate before were indescribable, she had eaten all of them. Naturally, she was full. "It's better for you to order something for me. I've never been here before," Jiang Yuechu said in confusion. Then, Ji Yu thought for a moment and shouted, "Waiter, give me some light dishes." "Okay, right away." When the waiter saw that it was the young expert from last time, he quickly acted. A few minutes later, a few dishes were served. Moreover, they didn't dare to take a single cent from Ji Yu. However, Ji Yu still casually threw a gold coin to the waiter. After all, he didn't have anything like copper coins on him. The waiter was flattered and thanked her repeatedly. "Try it. If it's not to your taste, you could directly change it," Ji Yu said to Jiang Yuechu. Hearing Ji Yu's words, Jiang Yuechu used her chopsticks to pick up a piece of vegetable leaf and try to taste it. After chewing for a while, she slowly opened her mouth and said, "I'm not used to it." In fact, Jiang Yuechu was more or less not used to it. However, as long as it didn't taste bad, she could eat it. "Then it's fine. You can continue eating." Ji Yu looked like an old father looking at his daughter and said with a smile, "Okay." Jiang Yuechu nodded obediently. Chapter 99. Jiang Yuechu ate in small mouthfuls like a virtuous lady. Suddenly, her beautiful eyes flashed as if she thought of something. Jiang Yuechu handed the chopsticks in her hand to Ji Yu. Ji Yu didn't understand what Jiang Yuechu meant. Then he asked in confusion, "What are you doing?" "You're feeding me," Jiang Yuechu said without any change in her expression. There wasn't the slightest trace of shyness on her face. "You have hands. Why do you want me to feed you?" Ji Yu asked with a speechless face. "Of course it's to seduce you, so that you could be infatuated with me," Jiang Yuechu said seriously. "You." Ji Yu was quite speechless. He wanted to ridicule, What's the use of saying it directly like this? But he didn't say it out loud. Hurry up and feed me. Jiang Yuechu handed the chopsticks to Ji Yu again and said stubbornly, Okay. Then I want to see how you can seduce me. Ji Yu took the chopsticks in Jiang Yuechu's hand, picked up a piece of vegetable leaf, and put it into Jiang Yuechu's mouth. Jiang Yuechu slowly closed her eyes and let Ji Yu feed her. Because Jiang Yuechu closed her eyes, Ji Yu's attention was completely focused on Jiang Yuechu's red lips. The red lips were like two dewy petals. Originally, Ji Yu didn't feel anything, but when he focused on Jiang Yuechu's lips, he couldn't help but gradually sink in. Looking at those exquisite and flawless facial features, he even had a faint impulse to kiss her. Fortunately, Ji Yu's willpower was strong, so he immediately suppressed this impulse. He couldn't help but sigh. Jiang Yuechu was really a femme fatale. He was really almost seduced. If it were an ordinary person, they would definitely have been unable to control themselves long ago. Ding! Master has resisted the lowly's temptation. Basic willpower experience gained. Won by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your basic willpower has successfully broken through to the initial success realm. Hey, how was that possible? Ji Yu was stunned when she heard the system notification. This system was getting more and more ridiculous. It even came up with something like resisting the temptation of lowless. However, after the system's reminder, Ji Yu realized that Jiang Yuechu was indeed a little lowly. Jiang Yuechu and Jiang Yuexin were about the same height. Both sisters were much shorter than him. Based on his visual estimation, the two sisters were no more than 5 meters tall. They were definitely lowly sisters. Jiang Yuechu continued to open her mouth slightly and wait for Ji Yu to feed her. She looked like a little kitten waiting to be fed. This cute appearance might not have been deliberately made by Jiang Yuechu, but it was extremely lethal to ordinary men. Fortunately, Ji Yu's willpower was strong enough to not be affected by Jiang Yuechu's unintentional action. Ding! Master has resisted the lowly's temptation. Basic willpower experience gained. Won by 999 times. Ding! Master has resisted the lowly's temptation. Basic willpower experience gained. Won by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Basic willpower has successfully broken through to the greater success realm. Ding! Basic willpower experience gained is full. It has automatically leveled up to bronze level willpower. As she fed, Ji Yu's willpower was strengthened to bronze level. During this process, everyone's eyes were focused on Ji Yu and Jiang Yuechu. Am I seeing things? Ji Yu is actually feeding Miss Jiang, and Miss Jiang doesn't seem to be unwilling at all. I thought it was only second Miss Jiang Yuexin. I didn't expect first Miss Jiang Yuechu to fall for him so quickly. This is too awesome. I don't know where Ji Yu learned how to pick up girls. There were even some uncles and aunties who sighed. Young people nowadays are really full of tricks. Chapter 100. Done. After finally finishing feeding her, Ji Yu let out a sigh of relief. It had to be said that this little lowly's unintentional seduction was quite strong. Normally, he wouldn't think much of it. Then, have you been successfully seduced by me? Jiang Yuechu asked seriously. Amen. You've successfully seduced me. Ji didn't beat around the bush and answered directly. Really? Don't try to trick me. Jiang Yuechu said doubtfully. Of course it's true. There's no need for me to lie to you about this kind of thing. Ji said calmly. Jiang Yuechu was still a little skeptical. She stared at Ji Yu's eyes for a while, but didn't see anything strange in Ji Yu's eyes. Amen. At this time, the corners of her mouth curled up into a faint smile. She seemed to be quite happy. Speaking of which, it's rare to see you smile. Seeing Jiang Yuechu like this, Ji Yu couldn't help but say. He still remembered that from the first time he saw Jiang Yuechu until now, Jiang Yuechu had always had a straight face. She had almost never smiled. Today, however, she was smiling for once. Suddenly, he remembered that Jiang Yuechu had pretended to be sad in front of his room and said, Speaking of which, you've been showing a lot more expressions recently. It should have something to do with your parents. It seems that you sisters and Manorhead John's relationship has more or less eased up. Is that so? Jiang Yuechu's expression was a little blank. In reality, after suppressing and sealing her heart these past few years, she was now a little confused about her own personality. That's right. Your expressions have clearly become more varied recently. At least, you're not as cold as before. Jiyu said, at the very least, you're still very cute when you smile. In the future, if you smile more often, maybe I'll fall for you. So, cute. Jiang Yuechu lowered her head shyly and murmured softly. However, she didn't make it obvious, so Jiyu didn't notice her shyness at all. All right, it's about time to go. With that, Jiyu stood up. Yes. The faint blush on Jiang Yuechu's face quickly disappeared, and her expression returned to normal. However, the subtle changes in her heart couldn't disappear. Along the way, it was already late. Seeing that Jiang Yuechu was still following her, Jiyu turned her head and asked, "Why are you still following me? Aren't you going back?" However, he quickly thought about it. It was definitely useless to say these words to Jiang Yuechu. Without waiting for Jiang Yuechu to speak, Jiyu said, "To be honest, I'm already a bit infatuated with you. You should go back first. Tomorrow, change into a more beautiful set of clothes. Maybe I'll be completely infatuated with you." Hearing Jiyu's words, Jiang Yuechu, who originally wanted to continue following Jiyu, immediately said, "Okay, then I'll come find you tomorrow." Then, Jiang Yuechu no longer followed Jiyu. It seemed that she was heading in the direction of the city lord's mansion. This little lowly is finally going back, Jiyu said somewhat helplessly. If he hadn't said those words, with Jiang Yuechu's stubborn personality, she would definitely have followed him back. She might even have stayed overnight. Although Lola's had 3 good points, a clear voice, a soft body, and easy to push down, he couldn't be such a beast, right? Chapter 101. After returning home, Jiyu had been cultivating the sky splitter technique. Cultivating the sky splitter could increase one's physique and talent, so he naturally wouldn't neglect this point. Jiyu wanted to raise the first stage of the sky splitter to perfection as soon as possible. This way, his efficiency in cultivating martial arts would be higher. Once his profound chi was depleted, he would consume pills to recover it and repeat this cycle. Ding! Master has activated the first stage of the King Stage Technique Sky Splitter. King Stage Technique Sky Splitter, first stage gained experience. 10,000 * 999 times. Ding! Master has consumed a great returning profound pill. The recovery effect of profound chi has increased by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The first stage of the King Stage Technique Sky Splitter has successfully broken through to the perfection stage. After an unknown period of time, Jiyu finally broke through to the next stage of the technique. If nothing unexpected happened, his physique should have been upgraded to the 8th grade of the mortal body. Next, he tried to cultivate martial arts. Ding! Master has cultivated martial arts for 1 minute. Martial art cultivation gained experience, 8 by 999 times. As expected, as the realm of the sky splitter technique increased, the cultivation effect increased by a lot again. After that, until his cultivation broke through, Jiyu kept cultivating. Ding! Master has cultivated martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation gained experience, 8 by 999 times. Ding! Master has cultivated martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation gained experience, 8 by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Martial arts cultivation has successfully broken through to the late stage of the 3rd level of the defensive profound realm. After successfully breaking through to the late stage of the 3rd level of the defensive profound realm, Jiyu fell asleep. Early the next morning, Jiyu was woken up by a series of knocks on the door. Dong, dong, dong. Although the sound wasn't loud, Jiyu's consciousness was more sensitive and he was immediately awakened. He had just woken up, so his mind was a little sluggish. After a while, He realized that other than Jiang Yuechu and Jiang Yuexin, no one else would come here. Ji got out of bed and stretched her body. Then, she went to open the door. Sure enough, the person standing in front of the door was Jiang Yuechu. The next moment, Ji Yu's eyes widened slightly. Why are you dressed like this? Unlike the past, Jiang Yuechu was dressed very cute today. Her hair was tied into 2 ponytails, and she was wearing a snow-white strapless dress. Especially those slender and smooth jade legs that were wrapped in white silk, they were extremely alluring. It was Mother who wanted me to dress like this. She said that you would definitely like it. Being stared at by Jiang Yuechu subconsciously felt a little bashful. Well, what do you think? Jiyu rubbed his chin and carefully sized up Jiang Yuechu from head to toe. He nodded solemnly. You do look very cute like this. Lolita, Beth, 2 ponytails. Jiyu had to admit that this was really amazing. That's good. Jiang Yuechu slowly let out a sigh of relief in her heart. At the same time, she felt a burst of joy. Chapter 102. Then, in order to achieve some goals, you're really willing to sacrifice yourself. Jiyu couldn't help but sigh. In his opinion, with Jiang Yuechu's personality, she probably didn't like to wear this kind of outfit and forced herself to wear it. Although he didn't know Jiang Yuechu very well. So, are you infatuated with me now? Jiang Yuechu asked very seriously. Well, let me think. It's about time. Jiyu thought about it and said, I'll continue to work hard. As she spoke, Jiang Yuechu walked into the house. Jiyu watched Jiang Yuechu walk in silently. Now, he was a little confused. Now that it had come to this point, should he agree to Jiang Yuechu or not? Was it better to agree to Jiang Yuechu? He even gradually couldn't tell whether the other party was sincere or not. Jiyu pondered for a while and decided to say, instead of going through so much trouble, why don't you tell me why you're doing this? As long as it's something I can help you with, I'll try my best to help you. He felt that it was meaningless to continue like this, and it was easy to cause some unnecessary trouble. I definitely can't let you know about that kind of thing. Jiang Yuechu said to Jiyu with a light smile. Jiang Yuechu's rare smile, and those words immediately made Jiyu more concerned about Jiang Yuechu's purpose. However, since Jiang Yuechu was unwilling to say, he could only give up for the time being. Forget it. It's useless to think so much. Let nature take its course. Jiyu gradually felt relieved and thought to himself. But at this moment, another voice suddenly came from outside the door. Sister, why are you here at Jiyu's place? Jiyu immediately recognized the owner of the voice. She turned around and saw that it was indeed Jiang Yuexin. Jiang Yuechu looked at Jiang Yuexin in surprise. Yuexin, you bastard, how dare you abduct my sister? Jiang Yuexin put her hands on her hips and pretended to be angry at Jiyu. Then, she muttered in an extremely soft voice, Clearly, I alone am enough. Don't misunderstand me. I've never abducted your sister. Although Jiyu knew that she might not be able to explain it, she still tried to explain it. I won't be fooled by you. How could Big Sister take the initiative to look for you? You must have forced her, and halfway through her sentence, Jiang Yuexin seemed to find it difficult to continue. She pointed at Jiang Yuechu's outfit and said shyly, You even let my sister dress in such a shameless manner. I'm really not lying to you. Jiyu originally wanted to say something, but after thinking about it, it seemed that what she said yesterday really did work. That was why Jiang Yuechu was forced to dress like this by the manorhead's wife. Sensing that Jiyu was suddenly feeling a little guilty, Jiang Yuexin snorted and said, As expected, I didn't guess wrong. You were the one who abducted my sister. At this moment, Jiyu was suddenly at a loss for words. No, Yuexin, I wanted it to be like this. Right at this moment, Jiang Yuechu suddenly spoke up. Sister, I'm already here. You don't have to care about this guy's threats anymore. Jiang Yuexin didn't believe Jiang Yuechu's words at all. She thought that Jiang Yuechu was still being controlled by Jiyu. Jiyu was speechless. What kind of person did this girl think she was? No, I'm telling the truth. I'm not joking. Jiang Yuechu shook her head. Seeing her sister's serious expression, Jiang Yuexin couldn't help but feel that something was wrong. She looked at Jiang Yuechu's expression and was dazed for a moment. Then, as if she was dreaming, she slowly muttered, "Sister, you couldn't have also fallen for this guy, right?" Jiyu suddenly felt that something was wrong. She frowned slightly and asked, "Why did you say also? Also, could it be?" After Jiyu said this, Jiang Yuexin realized that she had just spilled the beans. However, how could she be so honest? She explained with a flustered expression, Just now, it was a slip of the tongue. Also, I'm talking to my sister. Don't interrupt." Okay. Ji didn't think too much about it, and said in a perfunctory tone, "That's right. Your sister, have fallen for Ji Gongzi." Jiang Yuechu said with a sincere gaze. Chapter 103. No. Sister, when will you? Jiang Yuexin had become incoherent. Before she could finish a sentence, Jiang Yuechu continued calmly, "If Ji Gongzi is willing, I want to get engaged to Ji Gongzi in a few days." Ji was suddenly full of question marks. What the hell did she mean by getting engaged in a few days? No. Suddenly, Jiang Yuexin was so excited that she almost blurted out, "Why not? My engagement to Ji Gongzi doesn't seem to have anything to do with you, does it?" Jiang Yuechu was very calm. "How can it have nothing to do with me? I. Jiang Yuexin was so anxious that she couldn't even speak clearly. At this time, she couldn't care so much and simply threw caution to the wind. "I came first. So you admit it, right?" Jiang Yuechu's mouth slightly raised a triumphant smile. Hearing Jiang Yuechu's sudden change of topic, Jiang Yuexin was stunned for a moment and didn't realize what Jiang Yuechu was talking about. "Admit what? You admit that you like Ji Gongzi, right?" At this time, Jiang Yuechu was like a little devil. It was unknown whether it was intentional or not, but there was a faint, evil smile on his face. Jiang Yuexin was suddenly shocked and said with panic in her eyes, No. How can I like this guy?" Only Ji was confused and didn't understand what the two sisters wanted to do. The two sisters were fighting over and over again. Did they like him or not? "Since you don't like him, why do you want to stop me from getting engaged to Ji Gongzi?" Jiang Yuechu said with a slightly playful smile. "I don't care. You can't get engaged." Jiang Yuexin made trouble for no reason. "It's not up to you," Jiang Yuechu said flatly. Jiang Yuexin finally couldn't argue anymore. Her face turned red. I want to go back and tell my mother." After saying that, she quickly left the place. "So what are you two sisters doing?" Seeing Jiang Yuexin leave as if she was escaping, Jiyu asked Jiang Yuechu speechlessly. "Can't you see it?" Jiang Yuechu asked with an expressionless face. "I can see something. I guess your goal should be related to your sister." Jiyu thought for a moment and said, "That's all you can think of?" Jiang Yuechu's brows slightly frowned. "That's the only way." Jiyu nodded. "You." Jiang Yuechu felt a wave of helplessness as he sighed in his heart. It had already reached that point just now, but the other party still couldn't see it. She simply didn't know how to describe the other party. This degree of dullness, in a sense, was unparalleled. At this time, Jiang Yuechu wanted to say to Ji Yu's face, "You're really worthy of being called you. No matter what aspect, you're far superior to ordinary people." But in the end, she didn't say it. "If it's really related to Jiang Yuexin, then I can cooperate with you." At this time, Ji Yu said, "But I hope you can tell me the specific ins and outs of the matter." "I won't say it. Work hard to comprehend it yourself." Jiang Yuechu said with a face full of disappointment. "Comprehend what?" Hearing Jiang Yuechu's words, Ji Yu was even more confused. He thought for a while, but still couldn't figure out what the two sisters wanted to do. Soon, he was too lazy to continue thinking. Instead of wasting his brain cells on this kind of thing, it was better to spend more time cultivating or improving his cultivation. "Then I'll go buy some ingredients first. I've already learned a lot from Mother. Today's breakfast definitely won't be a problem," Jiang Yuechu said with a face full of confidence. Ji was silent for a moment. "Forget it, up to you. I'll be back in a while. You must wait for me to come back." Jiang Yuechu looked as if she was afraid that Ji Yu would secretly eat breakfast first. Okay, I got it, Ji Yu said perfunctorily. After that, Jiang Yuechu left with a little relief. But just as Ji Yu was about to sit down on the bed and cultivate, he suddenly saw a small head pop out of the door. Jiang Yuexin? Ji Yu knew it was Jiang Yuexin by looking at her hairstyle. Then he asked, "Didn't you go back? Why are you back?" I forgot to tell you something." At this moment, Jiang Yuexin slowly appeared. She twirled two of her fingers in a bashful manner. Chapter 104. Jiang Yuexin thought that Ji Yu already knew that she liked him, so she was extremely shy. "What is it?" Ji Yu asked in confusion. "Why did you come here without saying anything?" "My father wanted to thank you properly." Seeing that Ji Yu's expression was normal, Jiang Yuexin gradually became less shy. However, she still unconsciously felt a sense of loss in her heart. "There's no need to thank me," Ji Yu said politely. "Father has already given me a thank you gift, so you have to accept it even if you don't want it." Jiang Yuexin took off the storage ring on her hand and forced Ji Yu to put it on. Only then did she suddenly realize that her behavior was a little too ambiguous. However, this time, Jiang Yuexin didn't run away halfway like before because she was afraid that Ji Yu would really be snatched away by her older sister. Not only that, but she also said shyly in a small voice, "This storage ring seems to be a pair with me." "Oh, it seems like it really is." After hearing Jiang Yuexin's words, Ji Yu realized that the storage ring that Jiang Yuexin gave her was a pair with the one that Jiang Yuexin was wearing. After waiting for a long time, Ji Yu didn't continue to speak. Jiang Yuexin couldn't help but ask, "Don't you have anything else to say?" "What else do you want to say?" Ji Yu asked in return. "Forget it." Jiang Yuexin suddenly felt lost. "Nothing." She finally mustered up her courage, but the other party didn't notice anything. "What's wrong?" Seeing Jiang Yuexin like this, Ji Yu became even more confused. "If you feel uncomfortable anywhere, you can tell me." "I said nothing." After hearing that, Jiang Yuexin was even more furious and ran away without saying anything. However, she didn't run for long before she turned back and warned, "If you dare to force my sister to do anything bad, this young lady will definitely not let you off easily." After saying that, she snorted and left. Ji Yu was baffled. She couldn't figure out what was wrong with this guy today. He thought about it for a while, but still couldn't figure it out, so he couldn't be bothered to continue thinking about it. He sat on the bed and continued to cultivate. Ding! Master has practiced martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation experience gained, 8 by 999 times. Ding! Master has practiced martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation experience gained, 8 by 999 times. Ding! Master has practiced martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation experience gained, 8 by 999 times. At the same time, in the Chun family's mansion in Chaoyang Ancient City, the head of the Chun family, Chun Wuheng, and the head of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan, sat facing each other. The atmosphere in the room was very serious. Since the end of the entrance examination, Ji Yu had become famous in Chaoyang Ancient City. Naturally, they couldn't bear it anymore. "Brother Chun, I heard that Ji Yu is no longer in the mayor's mansion. Is this true?" Lin Zhanshan asked Chen Wuheng. "Yes, that guy ran to a hotel and stayed there." Chen Wuheng nodded. "Then what do you mean?" Lin Zhanshan asked. "Now that the guy is like the sun in the sky, we can't just sit and wait for death." Chen Wuheng's eyes flashed coldly. "Kill Ji Yu. But now that the guy has become a member of the Qianyuan martial house, we can't do it ourselves." Lin Zhanshan said worriedly. "You and I don't need to do anything. When that guy goes to the Demon Beast mountain range again, I will send someone to assassinate him." Chen Wuheng sneered. "Assassinate?" Lin Zhanshan's eyes moved as if he had just realized something. He sneered, "Brother Chun, I think that guy will definitely die this time." Chapter 105. Not long after Ji Yu started practicing martial arts, Jiang Yuechu came back. However, Jiang Yuechu didn't bring any ingredients with her. She came back empty-handed. Didn't you go out to buy ingredients? Seeing Jiang Yuechu like this, Jiyu immediately asked in confusion. I'm a little embarrassed. Jiang Yuechu said shyly in a low voice. When Jiang Yuechu said this, Jiyu instantly understood. If she went out in this dress, she would definitely attract all kinds of attention. Anyone would feel embarrassed. Why don't I go with you? Or I can go by myself. You can stay here. Jiyu said with a smile. It's better for you to go with me. When it came to choosing ingredients, Jiang Yuechu still wanted to do it herself. After all, she only asked her mother about 1 or 2 specific dishes. Although she also felt embarrassed, it should be better with Jiyu by her side. Okay, let's go then. Jiyu nodded. Along the way, Jiang Yuechu hid behind Jiyu, trying not to be seen by passers-by. It was the first time that Jiyu saw Jiang Yuechu so shy, and she found it quite interesting. Walking on the road, the rate of passers-by turning their heads was almost 100%, so no matter how Jiang Yuechu hid, it was useless. At most, she didn't let others see her face. In the end, Jiang Yuechu finally bought the ingredients and went back, both physically and mentally exhausted. After going back, she immediately started to cook. About 10 minutes later, Jiang Yuechu walked out of the kitchen with a plate. Looking at the plate in Jiang Yuechu's hand, Jiyu couldn't help but flash a trace of surprise in her eyes. Today, Jiang Yuechu's culinary skills had really improved. The dishes she made looked much better than yesterday. Under Jiang Yuechu's expectant gaze, Jiyu tasted it. He found that although it was still not very tasty, it had improved a lot compared to yesterday. How do you feel? Jiang Yuechu asked excitedly. Very good. I've improved a lot this time. Jiyu praised. Yes. Jiang Yuechu nodded happily. By the way, I'll be leaving Chuyang Ancient City for a few days. You don't have to come here. Jiyu suddenly thought of something and immediately said to Jiang Yuechu, Where are you going? Jiang Yuechu asked subconsciously. I'm going to the Demon Beast Mountain Range to train for a few days. I hope you won't come with me. Jiyu said honestly. All right, I got it. Jiang Yuechu nodded. In fact, she was very clear in her heart. With Jiyu's current strength, she wouldn't be able to help much even if she went to the Demon Beast Mountain Range. On the contrary, she would easily drag them down. In order not to cause unnecessary trouble for Jiyu, she did not plan to go with them. Then, Jiang Yuechu said with concern, You have to be careful. Yes. Jiyu nodded with a smile. Seeing this, Jiang Yuechu was a little relieved. After breakfast, Jiyu set off and left the hotel. He originally planned to go to the Chaoyang branch to buy a higher-level storage ring. After all, his original storage ring was only a low-level first-grade storage ring. A low-level first-grade storage ring was completely not enough for him now. However, Jiyu suddenly remembered the storage ring that Jiang Yuexin gave him before, so he dismissed the idea of going to the Chuyang branch immediately. He wanted to see what the storage ring was like first. He activated his spiritual power and penetrated the storage ring. Chapter 106. After that, Jiyu roughly estimated that the space in this storage ring was more than 10 times larger than his original storage ring. From this, it could be seen that the storage ring that Jiang Yuexin sent over was at least to the first grade or even the second grade. However, he didn't have a special understanding of storage rings, so he couldn't accurately determine the grade of this storage ring. After that, Jiyu took another look and discovered that there were several mystic skill manuals lying inside this storage ring. A storage ring and several mystic skill manuals. Although there weren't many things, it was enough to show Palace Master Zhang's sincerity. Not to mention the mystic skill manuals, just this storage ring alone was enough to make Jiyu very satisfied. Originally, he was in need of a storage ring with a larger storage space. Palace Master Zhang's actions could be said to be timely assistance. Let's see what kind of mystic skill manuals these 3 manuals are. Jiyu secretly thought to himself and began to control his mental strength to flip through the 3 mystic skill manuals in the storage ring. Ding! Master has taken a look at the Mystic Rank Inferior Finger Technique, Limitless Finger, triggering 999 times comprehension ability. Ding! Master has taken a look at the Mystic Rank Inferior Leg Technique, Rushing Thunder Leg, triggering 999 times comprehension ability. Ding. Master has taken a look at the mystic rank inferior claw technique, Blood Shadow Claw, triggering 999 times comprehension ability. Ding. Congratulations, Master. You have successfully comprehended the mystic rank inferior finger technique, Limitless Finger. Ding. Congratulations, Master. You have successfully comprehended the mystic rank inferior leg technique, Rushing Thunder Leg. Ding. Congratulations, Master. You have successfully comprehended the mystic rank inferior claw technique, Blood Shadow Claw. There were a total of 3 mystic skill manuals, namely Limitless Finger, Rushing Thunder Leg, and Blood Shadow Claw. Jiyu only casually glanced at these 3 manuals and instantly learned them all. Although he didn't lack mystic skills now, it was always good to have one more trick up his sleeve. Currently, his biggest trump card was the Mystic Rank Superior Blood Fiend Life Ending Palm. Unless it was a life and death situation, he wouldn't easily use it. With nothing else to do, Jiyu set off the Monster Beast Mountain Range. This time, he planned to stay in the Demonic Beast Mountain Range for a few days and return when the Alchemy Conference was about to begin. However, not long after Jiyu walked out of the city gates, she suddenly felt that someone was following her. His expression changed as he sped up and rushed out. Ding! Master has used the Mystic middle-level skill Myriad Flash. Experience gained from the Mystic middle-level skill Myriad Flash. 300 by 999 times. Jiyu's figure flashed and disappeared from the spot in an instant. In the next moment, 3 men in black appeared. I actually lost him. Damn it! The black-clothed man, standing at the front, cursed inwardly. I really didn't expect this kid's speed to be so fast. He disappeared without a trace in an instant. We can't catch up at all. This is going to be troublesome. The other 2 men in black were also embarrassed. The leader was silent for a while and said helplessly, "There's no other way. Let's go back first and just inform Family Head Chin. Do you really think I'm gone?" Suddenly, a cold voice came from behind them. The 3 men in black were shocked and turned around. They didn't know when the black-robed young man appeared behind them. "If I'm not wrong, you 3 should be sent by that old dog Chen Wang, right?" Ji said coldly. Previously, he noticed that the 3 of them followed him out of Chaoyang Ancient City. In the entire Chaoyang Ancient City, except for the Chun family and the Lin family, there was no one who had a grudge against him. Just now, he heard the 3 words Family Head Chun from the men in black. He was sure that it was the Chun family without a doubt. The leader of the men in black was the first to calm down. "I was worried that I couldn't find you, but you delivered yourself to me. It seems that you want to assassinate me, right?" Jiyu smiled faintly, and a cold, killing intent flashed in his eyes. "Then don't think that you can go back alive. Kid, you're so arrogant." The leader of the men in black didn't panic. Instead, he sneered. "It seems that you haven't figured out your current situation." As he spoke, the man in black suddenly waved his hand. A scroll with a strange pattern on it floated in midair. In an instant, countless strange and dazzling lights bloomed from the scroll. The strange light shone from above and below, enveloping the entire area around Jiyu. Looking at this scene, Jiyu couldn't help but frown. Suddenly, a notification came from the system. Ding! Master has seen the lower grade 3 formation Xiao Shazhen and triggered 999 times comprehension ability. Chapter 107. Ding! Congratulations, Master. You have successfully comprehended the lower grade 3 array Xiao Shazhen. Following the system's notification, Jiyu's mind was filled with information regarding Xiao Shazhen. For example, the method to create an array and even the method to break Xiao Shazhen's array had all been mastered by him. I was wondering why I had never seen such a thing before. So it's a type of array. Thinking of this, Jiyu's lips curled up slightly. Although he had never seen an array or array before, he had heard of it before. In this world, there was another profession that was as unique as the alchemist, and that was the array master. However, Array masters were not very popular in the Kanglan Empire and belonged to the very unpopular category. Thus, Jiyu had never seen an array master before. Today, he had seen one with his own eyes, and three at the same time. The three black-clothed men in front of him were the array masters who had cast Xiao Shajin. "Brat, let's see how you can show off now." The black-clothed men laughed heartily, obviously unaware of what was about to happen. "Seeing that you've delivered yourself to me, I'll let you die with a clear understanding." Not only did the black-clothed men not understand the situation, they were also very arrogant. "This is the Grade 3 array, Xiao Shajin, and it is activated by us three array masters. Martial practitioners below the Tongshin realm will not be able to escape. You brat, even if you grow wings, you have nowhere to run." "Are you so sure that I can't escape?" Jiyu said with an indifferent smile. Even at this time, you brat's tone is still not small. The black-clothed men looked at him with disdain. "If you think you can escape from here, you can try." "That's what you said," Ji said indifferently. He immediately began to read the method to break the array Xiao Shajin in his mind. "I'll give you 10 seconds. After 10 minutes, I will activate the array. Don't regret it when the time comes." The man in black laughed contemptuously. At this time, Ji had already found out how Xiao Shajin was going to break the formation. The Xiao Shajin's only weakness was the eye of the formation. However, this eye of the formation was extremely well hidden. Most people would not be able to see it with their naked eyes. However, Ji was not an ordinary person. He already knew the location of the formation eye through the method in his mind. Ji didn't want to waste any more words with the man in black. She immediately took action. "Ding! Master has used the Mystic middle-level skill Myriad Flash. Experience gained from the Mystic middle-level skill Myriad Flash. 300 by 999 times." Using her body movements, Jiyu instantly arrived at the location of the Xiao Shajin array core. "Ding! Master has used the low profound rank profound skill Limitless Finger. Experience gained from the low profound rank profound skill Limitless Finger. 200 by 999 times." The tip of Jiyu's right index finger quickly condensed a golden ray of light. With a light tap, the golden ray of light suddenly shot out. The golden ray of light hit the eye of the formation. The entire Xiao Shajin instantly collapsed. "Ding! Master has broken the low third rank formation Xiao Shajin. Experience gained from the formation attainment. 600 by 999 times." "Ding! Congratulations, Master. Formation attainment has successfully broken through to the low first rank formation master." "Ding! Congratulations, Master. Formation attainment has successfully broken through to the medium first rank formation master." After successfully breaking the Xiao Shajin array core, Jiyu instantly broke through twice. He was directly promoted to the medium first rank formation master. In this instant, Jiyu grasped a large amount of knowledge regarding formations. However, he didn't have the time to care about these things. He still had important matters to attend to. At the same time, on the other side, the three men in black's eyes were filled with disbelief. They all stood there dumbstruck like wooden chickens, especially the man in black who had been so arrogant just now. His entire body froze, and his mind went blank. The third-rank formation Xiao Shajin that he was originally so proud of was actually so easily broken by the opponent. He simply couldn't believe that everything that was happening in front of his eyes was real. In the next moment, Jiyu's figure flashed and quickly appeared in front of the three men in black. "I've said it before. Don't even think about leaving this place alive today." Looking at the three completely dumbfounded people in front of him, Jiyu laughed coldly. Chapter 108. In the blink of an eye, Jiyu unleashed three limitless fingers at the three black-clothed men. "Ding! Congratulations, Master. The low-grade mystic skill, Boundless Finger, has successfully broken through to the initial success realm." Although the Boundless Finger was not the most powerful mystic skill he had, it was fast and had a large range, making it more convenient to use. The men in black seemed to only have high attainments in formations, but not in martial arts. In addition, the three men in black were stunned on the spot, unable to resist at all. Their hearts were pierced directly. Until their deaths, they did not understand how Jiyu broke the Xiao Shajun. After dealing with the three men, Jiyu took the storage rings from their hands. Then, as if nothing had happened, Jiyu headed to the Demon Beast Mountain Range with a calm expression. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The mid-grade mystic skill Myriad Flash has successfully broken through to the initial success realm. On the way to the middle of the Demon Beast Mountain Range, Jiyu's mid-grade mystic skill Myriad Flash had broken through to the next realm. After a few days, there were only 5 days left before the start of the Grand Alchemy Conference. Jiyu ended this period of training. In these few days, his martial arts cultivation had broken through to the peak of the 3rd level of the defensive mystic realm. In addition, his leg technique Thunder Rush Leg, claw technique Blood Shadow Claw, movement technique Myriad Flash, and fist technique All Sides Fist had all broken through to the mastery realm. After leaving the Demon Beast Mountain Range, Jiyu went straight back to Chaoyang Ancient City. On the way, he saw many carriages entering the city gate, and they all looked quite luxurious, as if they were the children of rich families. But Jiyu did not care too much, and calmly headed to the Chuyang branch. He wanted to sell all the demonic beast materials in his storage ring. Not long after, he arrived at the Chuyang branch. But today's Chaoyang branch was a bit strange. Compared to usual, there were more people here, and he could even see many young men and women with strange clothes and unfamiliar faces. Jiyu walked around the lobby of the Chuyang branch and accidentally bumped into someone. Which blind bastard is that? The other party seemed to be about to flare up, but for some reason, his voice suddenly stopped. Jiyu came back to her senses and realized that it was one of the people she met in the Monster Beast Mountain Range. Why are you here? Jiyu didn't pay attention to the guy who bumped into her because he was so scared that he couldn't speak. His eyes were fixed on the veiled woman in front of him. We're just here for a walk. Could it be that you're also an alchemist? The calm man asked warily. Although he knew that he was being impolite, the strength of the young man in front of him was too terrifying, so he had to be careful. That's right, I'm an alchemist, Jiyu said casually. But then again, you guys aren't from Chuyang Ancient City, right? Previously, when he was in the Demon Beast Mountain Range, he could tell that among the 4 people on the other side, 2 of them were defensive, profound realm warriors. One was the veiled woman, and the other was the cautious man in front of him. Jiyu should have recognized all the geniuses in Chaoyang Ancient City, but he had never seen the veiled woman before. Obviously, this group of people wasn't from Chaoyang Ancient City. Yes, as you said, we're from Bright Moon Ancient City. The calm man said. I see, Jiyu pondered. Bright Moon Ancient City was one of the territories of the Kanglan Empire, just next to Chaoyang Ancient City. It was no wonder that he met these 4 people in the Monster Beast Mountain Range last time, because the Monster Beast Mountain Range was surrounded by several ancient cities, and Bright Moon Ancient City was one of them. At this moment, the veiled woman who had been silent for a long time suddenly spoke. I'm Nangong Maching from the Nangong family in Bright Moon Ancient City. May I ask what's your name? Chapter 109. What does my name have to do with you? Jiyu just didn't like this woman in front of him because he always felt a kind of temperament from this woman that kept people thousands of miles away. Although Yu Shuyan was also like an ice cube all day long, at least he wasn't as unapproachable as this Gong Sun Maching. Moreover, Yu Shuyan had a very big beneficial relationship with him. After saying that, Jiyu bypassed the 4 people in front of him. The calm man's face became a little ugly, but he didn't dare to say anything. Needless to say, the other 2 young men didn't dare to say a word. Only Gong Sun Maching's expression didn't change from beginning to end, and no one could see the slightest fluctuation in her emotions. But no one noticed that her cold eyes flashed with a touch of excitement and a trace of fanaticism. Soon, Jiyu came to the area where materials were traded. The people next to him looked at him taking out a large pile of demonic beast materials, and they seemed to be used to it. After getting a lot of gold coins, Jiyu used these gold coins to buy alchemy materials. After that, he left the Chaoyang branch and returned to the hotel. Back in the room, Jiyu immediately began to prepare to refine the medicinal pills. But when he took out the pill furnace from the storage ring, he suddenly remembered that there was still one thing that he almost forgot. A few days ago, he killed the 3 black-clothed men outside the demonic Beast Mountain range and took 3 storage rings from them. As a result, he forgot about it after entering the demonic Beast Mountain range, and only now did he suddenly remember it. Jiyu decided to take a look at what was in the 3 storage rings first, and then refine the medicinal pills later. He opened the 3 storage rings one after another, and found that they were all a lot of gold coins and array diagrams, and nothing else. However, these things weren't bad. Needless to say, the effect of the gold coins was not small, and the array diagrams were also very useful to him. Now that Jiyu had become an intermediate grade 1 alchemist, learning more array diagrams could improve his strength to another extent. Inferior grade 2 offensive array diagram, raging fire array. Inferior grade 2 defensive array diagram, rock wall array. Inferior grade 2 auxiliary array diagram, spirit movement array. Although there were not many array diagrams, their grades were not low. According to Jiyu's understanding, formations could be roughly divided into 4 categories: offensive formations, defensive formations, auxiliary formations, and illusory formations. The 4 major categories were as their name suggested. For example, the offensive formations were powerful formations that could cause damage to the enemy. The defensive formations were to increase one's defensive capabilities. It was very simple to understand. No matter what kind of array it was, the array diagram had to be created first. Now that Jiyu had several array diagrams in her hands, he wanted to try learning them all. Ding! Master took a look at this 2nd grade lower class offensive formation, blazing fire formation, and triggered 999 times comprehension ability. Ding! Congratulations, Master. You have successfully comprehended the inferior grade 2 offensive formation, the blazing fire formation. Jiyu really wanted to test the power of this formation, but there was no suitable place for him to test it now, so he could only give up for the time being. Then he looked at the rock wall formation and the spirit movement formation and learned them all in an instant. After learning it, Jiyu planned on continuing to refine medicinal pills. Because this room was too small, it was not suitable for him to set up any formation. He would find a spacious place in the future and try to set up formations. However, just as he was preparing the pill refining materials, the door was suddenly pushed open. Jiyu, you're finally back. Chapter 110. Jiyu didn't even need to raise his head to know that it was Jiang Yuexin. How did you know I'm back? Jiyu asked curiously. He had just returned from the Demon Beast Mountain range. However, he quickly reacted. As the 2nd daughter of the City Lord Mansion, Jiang Yuexin naturally had many means in Chaoyang Ancient City. It was normal for her to be able to monitor his movements. What's so strange about that? As long as you're in Chaoyang Ancient City, your every move is under this young lady's control. Jiang Yuexin said proudly. Don't randomly send people to monitor me. Be careful that I don't beat your little butt. Jiyu deliberately pretended to threaten her fiercely. He hated the feeling of being monitored. It made him feel very uncomfortable. Lu, hooligan. Hearing Jiyu's words, Jiang Yuexin suddenly blushed and said softly, You said I'm a hooligan? Then I'll say you're a fool. Jiyu was speechless. You deliberately sent people to monitor me. If you're not a fool, then what are you? This young lady isn't a fool, Jiang Yuexin retorted and whispered in a complaining tone. Can't you just stay in the City Lord Mansion? Why do you have to run around? Let's not talk about this first. Jiyu suddenly thought of something and changed the topic. When do you want to leave for Qianyuan Ancient City? This is up to you to decide. I'm fine with it any time. Sister shouldn't mind too. Jiang Yuexin said. Then let's set the time to 5 days to half a month later. We'll decide when the time comes. Jiyu thought for a moment and said, the alchemy conference would begin in 5 days. It would probably end in a day at most. However, he wasn't sure if there would be anything else after the alchemy conference, so he would have to wait until the alchemy conference ended. Okay, then remember to tell us when the time comes. Jiang Yuexin said. Ji Yu nodded. By the way, Ji Yu, I have something to ask you. At this time, Jiang Yuexin suddenly became a little unnatural. Ji Yu waited for Jiang Yuexin to speak. You? Are you really interested in my sister? Jiang Yuexin said embarrassedly. Hearing Jiang Yuexin's words, Ji Yu suddenly had a strong sense of déjà vu. He remembered that when he first met Jiang Yuexin in the Monster Beast mountain range, she had said the same thing, but her expression at that time was very different from now. Do you want to hear the truth or a lie? Ji Yu pondered for a moment and asked. I want to hear the truth. Jiang Yuexin said seriously. All right, I'll tell you the truth. If I say that I don't have any feelings for your sister, it would definitely be a lie. Ji Yu said truthfully. This sentence was indeed the truth, but there was still a difference between having feelings for her and liking her. The reason why he was interested in Jiang Yuechu was purely because Jiang Yuechu was very cute in all aspects, and she was also very good-looking. This was the thinking of a normal man. That was all. If he said that he liked Jiang Yuechu, it would be a bit forced. However, he himself didn't quite understand what it meant to like her. Jiang Yuexin seemed to have already mentally prepared herself. She knew that Ji Yu would say this, so she didn't have much of an emotional fluctuation. Although her mood was a bit complicated, she quickly calmed down and continued to ask, Then compared to my sister, who do you like more? Hearing Jiang Yuexin's words, Ji Yu couldn't help but be stunned for a while. This Ji Yu didn't know what to say for a moment. Before Ji Yu could speak, Jiang Yuexin added, This time, I still want to hear your true feelings. Chapter 111. Truth. Ji Yu couldn't be bothered to continue thinking about it, so she simply said her inner thoughts. I think your share is more. Really? Jiang Yuexin's face immediately revealed a happy expression. Of course it's true. Ji Yu nodded and said. Hee. Jiang Yuexin's heart was about to burst with joy, but soon her expression changed, and she turned her head with a red face and said, Don't misunderstand. I'm just confirming that you don't have any bad intentions towards my sister. Oh, so that's the case. Ji Yu didn't think too much and nodded seriously. Seeing Ji Yu like this, Jiang Yuexin immediately regretted it. Originally, there was going to be some improvement, but she ruined it. At the same time, Ji Yu and Jiang Yuexin didn't realize that Jiang Yuechu was secretly hiding outside the door and listening to everything that was happening inside. At this time, Jiang Yuechu was completely speechless. Why did her sister always drop the ball at the crucial moment? Ding! Detected that Master has begun to refine a second-grade pill. The success rate of refining pills has increased by 999 times. At this time, Ji Yu had already begun to refine pills. All right, you can go back first. I might have to use the next day to refine pills. Ji Yu suddenly raised her head and said to Jiang Yuexin, because there were a lot of ingredients this time, it would probably take at least an entire day to refine all of them. Oh, then I'll bring some food for you later. With that, Jiang Yuexin left. Ding! Master has refined a second-grade middle-grade pill. Alchemy attainment gained experience. 300 by 999 times. Ding! Master has refined a second-grade lower-grade pill. Alchemy attainment gained experience. 200 by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Alchemy attainment has successfully broken through to third-grade middle-grade alchemist. After an entire day, Ji Yu finally finished refining all the materials. Right now, I'm just one step away from becoming a superior grade 3 alchemist. When the time comes, I'll refine a 7 profound spirit clearing pill to solve the problem of the mansion mistress. Ji Yu thought to herself as she slowly opened her eyes. Looking at the rising sun outside the window, he realized that it was already the next morning. Because it was very early, the surroundings were quiet. It was precisely because of this that Ji Yu vaguely heard a soft snoring sound. Huff, 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 huff. Ji Yu subconsciously turned to look at her bed. She was surprised to find that Jiang Yuexin had unknowingly fallen asleep on the bed, and she didn't even cover herself with a blanket. At this moment, he noticed a wooden basket on the table from the corner of his eye. It seemed to be filled with food. Jiyu immediately understood something. Immediately, he smiled warmly and walked forward to help cover Jiang Yuexin with a blanket. Just as he leaned over to cover Jiang Yuexin with a blanket, Jiang Yuexin seemed to have had a dream and suddenly reached out to hug him. Jiyu didn't expect Jiang Yuexin to make such a sudden move. Furthermore, he didn't have his guard up against Jiang Yuexin at all. As a result, he was directly hugged by Jiang Yuexin, lying in Jiang Yuexin's embrace. He immediately experienced the feeling of face washing. Unfortunately, it was only slightly better than an airport landing. Not only was it uncomfortable, but it also felt a little painful. It was really uncomfortable. Jiyu struggled a little, wanting to escape from Jiang Yuexin's embrace. However, his struggle woke up Jiang Yuexin. Jiang Yuexin was still a little confused when she was suddenly woken up. After a while, she realized that Jiyu was lying on top of her. For a moment, her head felt like it was being bombarded, and all kinds of messy thoughts appeared in her mind. The more she thought about it, the redder her face became. In the end, she completely exploded like a steam engine. When Jiyu saw that Jiang Yuexin had woken up, she already knew what was going to happen. She had already covered her ears and was prepared. Even so, Jiang Yuexin's scream was still a little harsh to his ears. Jiyu covered his ears and helplessly moved away from Jiang Yuexin. This time, he didn't do anything. You bastard, hooligan, pervert. Jiang Yuexin's face was red as she hugged her chest and shouted angrily. Can I say that you suddenly wrapped around me just now? Jiyu explained helplessly. You pervert, stay away from me. Jiang Yuexin didn't listen to his explanation at all. Calm down and think about it. If I really wanted to do something to you, why would I wait until now? Jiyu said calmly. Jiang Yuexin thought carefully and felt that Jiyu did make sense. However, she was even more unhappy. Then do you think that I'm not charming? Chapter 112. Charm. Jiyu's eyes involuntarily fixed on Jiang Yuexin's chest. Bastard, where are you looking at? Jiang Yuexin noticed Jiyu's gaze and immediately said shyly, Let's not talk about this. I haven't eaten yet. Jiyu changed the topic. Jiang Yuexin easily followed Jiyu's topic. By the way, I brought you some food, but it's already cold. It doesn't matter. It's fine as long as it's edible. Jiyu walked to the table and took out the things in the basket. He found that it was some dumpling-like food. It looked fine on the surface. He picked it up and tasted it. Surprisingly, it was quite delicious. Did you make this? Jiyu asked Jiang Yuexin curiously. No, I asked the servant to make this. Jiang Yuexin replied. Oh, so that's how it is. Jiyu thought about it. He was thinking too much. Jiang Yuexin and Jiang Yuechu were probably the same. They didn't know anything about cooking. It would be strange if Jiang Yuexin could make such delicious food. Do you want to eat the food I made? Jiang Yuexin seemed to understand something and immediately asked. I'll forget it. I was just casually asking. Jiyu smiled awkwardly. He was already a little scared of Jiang Yuechu. He didn't want to start from the beginning again. Oh, I'm so sleepy. At this time, Jiang Yuexin gently rubbed her eyes and yawned. It seemed that she hadn't fully woken up. You didn't rest well last night. Why don't you go back and have a good rest? Jiyu looked at Jiang Yuexin and said with concern, Okay, then I'll go back first. You rest well too. I see that you haven't slept since last night. With that, Jiang Yuexin left. After Jiang Yuexin left, Jiyu immediately put the pills that he had just made on the table. He was going to use 70% of the pills to increase his cultivation. As for the remaining 30%, he planned to sell them at the Chaoyang branch in the future. This way, he would be able to earn a large amount of gold coins. Then, he began to use the pills to increase his cultivation. Ding! Master has consumed a medium-grade 2 medicinal pill. The experience gained for martial arts cultivation is as follows, 7,000 by 999 times. Ding! Master has consumed an inferior second-grade medicinal pill. Experience gained from martial cultivation, 5,000 by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. martial cultivation successfully broke through to the peak of the 4th level defensive profound realm. After consuming all the pills, Jiyu managed to increase his cultivation by a small level. However, he felt that he was only half a step away from reaching the 5th level of the defensive profound realm. He planned to try to break through to the 5th level of the defensive profound realm in one go. At this time, he immediately began to cultivate his mystical chi. After about half an hour, Jiyu finally broke through to the 5th level of the defensive profound realm. Next, he planned to attempt to concoct a 2nd-grade high-quality pill and a 3rd-grade pill. These 2nd-grade low-grade and 2nd-grade mid-grade pills were not very effective for him now. Consuming a lot of them would not increase his cultivation by much. However, before trying to make higher-grade pills, Jiyu had to earn enough gold coins first. Otherwise, if he could not even afford the ingredients for the pills, then it would be useless no matter how much he said. I'll go to the Chaoyang branch later and sell the rest of the pills. I should be able to get quite a lot of gold coins. Jiyu muttered to himself in a low voice. Without another word, he immediately set off for the Chaoyang branch. Chapter 113. At this time, Jiang Yuexin was on her way back to the City Lord Mansion. There were experts from the City Lord's mansion secretly protecting her, so it was very safe for her to be alone. However, she seemed to be a little uneasy now. She lowered her head slightly and looked at her chest, as if she was still concerned about Jiyu's gaze just now. Why is it so small? Jiang Yuexin looked worried. She used her hand to support her chest and found that it was only a little bit. Suddenly, her eyes moved as if she thought of something. She quickened her pace and ran back to the City Lord's mansion. After arriving at the City Lord's mansion, she went straight to look for her sister. Soon, Jiang Yuexin found Jiang Yuechu and said to Jiang Yuechu, "Sister, stand there and don't move." Although Jiang Yuechu had a puzzled look on his face, he still listened to his younger sister's words. Jiang Yuexin walked directly to Jiang Yuechu's back. Her hands were like devil's claws, reaching for Jiang Yuechu's chest without any warning. Yuexin, what are you doing?" Suddenly being attacked, Jiang Yuechu couldn't help but cry out softly. Her face was slightly red. However, she didn't resist. After all, it was her sister. Not only that, Jiang Yuexin also used her hands to rub it twice. Phew, it's okay. After confirming her sister's size, Jiang Yuexin immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Her sister's size wasn't bigger than hers. However, at the same time, Jiang Yuexin couldn't help but feel a little sad. Her mother's was obviously so big, so why were her and her sister's so small? Sister, have you ever thought about why our size is different from others? Jiang Yuexin suddenly asked Jiang Yuechu with a serious face. Why are you suddenly asking this? Jiang Yuechu was puzzled. She couldn't understand why her sister suddenly asked such a question. Moreover, she didn't have much of an opinion on this kind of thing. It didn't matter to her whether it was big or small. Forget it. It's obvious that you don't understand these things. I'll go ask mother. After that, Jiang Yuexin ran away. Only Jiang Yuechu was left puzzled. What was wrong with her sister? At this moment, Ji had already arrived at the Chaoyang branch. Today's Chaoyang branch was still the same as yesterday. It was bustling with activity. Since there were only 4 days left before the alchemy conference, more and more people from all over the Kanglan Empire rushed to Chaoyang Ancient City. Some people came to participate in the alchemy conference, but even more people came to join in the fun. As usual, Ji wore a black robe to cover his face. Although this style of dressing had become his classic image, there were also many young people who imitated it, so it was not so easy to recognize him. Soon, he walked into the Chaoyang branch and came to the front desk. He remembered that this was the place in charge of appraising and trading treasures. If he wanted to sell pills, he naturally had to come here. "Mister, how can I help you?" The staff at the front desk immediately asked with a smile. "I want to sell some pills." Ji didn't try to hide his voice, so he spoke naturally. Once he heard Jiyu's voice, the staff immediately changed the way he addressed him. "Mister, please take out your pills for us to appraise. After that, we will decide on the price. Okay. Jiyu immediately took out all the pills in his storage ring. Seeing that there were at least a dozen pills in front of him, the staff was shocked. He didn't expect this mister to be able to take out so many pills at once. Moreover, they seemed to be at least second-grade pills. Cough, cough. Seeing that the service staff was dumbfounded, Jiyu coughed lightly to remind them. The staff immediately came to his senses and quickly put away the pills. Mister, please wait for a moment. I'll take them to the treasure appraiser now. The results will be out soon. Chapter 114. Not long after, an old man walked out from inside. The old man first took a look at Jiyu before he began to appraise the pills that Jiyu brought. Suddenly, the sound of a system notification rang out in Jiyu's mind. Ding! Master has watched the appraiser appraise the items. Treasure appraisal attainment gained experience points, won by 999 times. However, Jiyu is already used to it, so his emotions did not fluctuate much. Based on his knowledge of the system, if watching an alchemist refining pills could increase his alchemy attainment, it was normal that watching an appraiser appraise the items could increase his treasure appraisal attainment as well. At the same time, the old man seemed to have finished appraising the first pill. His muddy eyes flashed with a hint of surprise. This was actually an inferior second-grade medicinal pill, and its quality was very good. Then, wouldn't the remaining pills be? At the thought of this, the old man could not wait to appraise the remaining pills. Jiyu stood at the side and watched the old man appraise the pills. The system notification rang continuously. Ding! Master has watched the appraiser appraise the items. Treasure appraisal attainment gained experience points, won by 999 times. Ding! Master has watched the appraiser appraise the items. Treasure appraisal attainment gained experience points, won by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your treasure appraisal attainment has successfully broken through to an inferior first-grade appraiser. Soon, Jiyu became an inferior first-grade appraiser. Just like when he became an inferior grade 1 alchemist, a lot of knowledge about appraising treasures and various basic methods of appraising treasures instantly emerged in his mind. On the other hand, since Jiyu had refined many pills that were repeated, the old man quickly finished appraising all the pills. At this moment, the old man could not describe the shock in his heart. There were a total of 10 to 20 pills, and they were all inferior second-grade or middle-grade second-grade pills. The black-robed man in front of him seemed to be a young man. May I ask if you're an alchemist? The old man could not help but ask. That's right. Jiyu nodded in response. As expected, young master should be an alchemy genius from somewhere else, right? The old man asked with a respectful expression. He asked this because he had never heard of any alchemy genius in Chaoyang ancient city other than Miss Yushuyan who could refine a medium-level 2 elixir pill. Jiyu smiled but didn't say anything. He didn't need to reveal too much to a stranger. After the old man calculated the value of all the pills to Jiyu, Jiyu put away a large pile of gold coins into her storage ring and left. However, Jiyu was not in a hurry to go back. Instead, she wandered around the Chuyang branch. Just as he was passing by a certain room, he suddenly heard a familiar voice coming from the room. Jiyu thought it sounded like Yushuyun's voice. He stopped in front of the door for a moment and glanced into the room. In the next moment, his pupils shrank slightly. Look at what he saw. Yushuyun was actually talking to Nangong Maching inside. What the F***CK? Was this a F***King meeting between two ice cubes? Two ice sculptures? At the same time, Nangong Maching was the first to notice that someone was looking in from outside the door. However, she did not turn her head to look. Instead, she asked coldly, "Who are you?" As soon as Nangong Maching spoke, Yushuyun subconsciously looked outside the door and greeted, "Jiyu, since you're here, come in too." Since Yushuyun said so, Jiyu walked into the room. Nangong Maching heard that it was someone Yushuyun knew, so she turned around curiously. Chapter 115. Turning his head to look, Nangong Maching's cold eyes suddenly flashed with an imperceptible surprise. "You're Jiyu," Nangong Maching subconsciously said. She did not expect that the person who came in would be the black-robed youth from before. "Yes," Jiyu casually replied. "So you two know each other?" Hearing the conversation between the two, Yu Shuyun couldn't help but ask. "Not really. We've only met once or twice." Jiyu said. "Then let me introduce you. This is Nangong Maching from the Nangong family in Bright Moon Ancient City. She is also one of the contestants who came to participate in this alchemy conference." Yu Shuyun introduced to Jiyu. "So, she's also our competitor?" Jiyu thought for a moment and said, "That's right. She's also participating in the duo competition like us, but the person who teamed up with her is not here right now." Yu Shuyun nodded. Nangong Maching listened to the conversation between the two in silence. No one knew what she was thinking. "Then what were you talking about here, just now?" Jiyu continued to ask. "I just happened to bump into Miss Nangong and had a simple conversation with her. There was nothing important." Yu Shuyun said. "So that's how it is." Jiyu originally thought that these two ice sculptures were talking about something interesting, but it seemed that she was overthinking. At this moment, Nangong Maching suddenly said coldly, "Wait until the day of the alchemy conference. I'll let you see the difference between you two. You don't have the qualifications to make me see anything." Hearing this, Jiyu did not have the slightest anger on her face. Instead, she smiled. "Then let's wait and see." With that, Nangong Maching stood up and left. At this moment, Jiyu and Yu Shuyun did not see the trace of interest and fanaticism in Nangong Maching's cold eyes. In the room, Yu Shuyun didn't seem to care about what Nangong Maching had just said. She said to Jiyu, without changing her expression, "There are still 4 days before the Grand Alchemy Conference begins. You should be mentally prepared, right?" "Yes." Jiyu nodded casually. Now that he had already reached the level of a medium tier 3 alchemist, why would he need to be mentally prepared to participate in an alchemy conference? He would just crush everyone along the way. If he hadn't agreed with Yu Shuyun to participate in the duo competition, he would have wanted to get first place in the singles competition. Your talent in alchemy is indeed not bad, but you'd better not be too arrogant. Although the experts are all gathered in the individual competition this time, there are still some experts who participated in the duo competition. Yu Shuyun said solemnly. "For example, that Murong Maching just now. Our chances of winning against her are not very high." Her impression of Jiyu was still at the level of an inferior second-grade alchemist, so she had a slight tone of an elder lecturing a junior. "I know." Not wanting to listen to Yu Shuyun's nonsense anymore, Jiyu's expression deliberately became more serious. "Okay, in 4 days before the alchemy conference starts, come and find me here. At that time, I'll tell you some things about the rules of the alchemy conference." Yu Shuyun said. "I got it. See you then." After saying that, Jiyu waved his hand and left. Then, as usual, he bought a bunch of alchemy materials at the Chuyang branch before leaving the Chuyang branch. After returning to his room, Jiyu immediately began to refine pills. This time, he brought back a lot of materials needed to refine superior second-grade and third-grade pills, which meant that he was ready to start refining these higher-grade pills. After spending a full day, Jiyu finally finished refining all the pills. These pills were his first attempt at refining, so he was a little unfamiliar with them, and his speed was very slow. Especially for the intermediate third-grade pills, it took him at least 2 hours to refine each one. He didn't bring back a lot of materials, so Jiyu's alchemy skills had not improved to that of a superior third-grade alchemist, but he was not too far away. Chapter 116. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your martial arts cultivation has successfully broken through to the mid-stage of Defensive Profound Realm Level 5. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Your martial arts cultivation has successfully broken through to the late stage of Defensive Profound Realm Level 5. Jiyu consumed all the pills one after another. Although there weren't many of them, they were of high quality and allowed his martial arts cultivation to break through 2 small realms. At this moment, he could clearly feel the surge in his strength. With my current cultivation and those mystic skills, it's not difficult for me to challenge a level 6 or 7 defensive profound realm martial artist. Jiyu thought to himself, and couldn't help but feel a little excited. It wouldn't be long before he could kill Lin Jianshan, but it would probably be after he went to the Qianyuan martial house. After all, Lin Jianshan was a veteran Tongxian realm martial artist. Before Jiyu broke through to the Tongxian realm, he wouldn't have the slightest chance of winning. Then I'll cultivate the Sky Splitter next. Anyway, the Sky Splitter can only cultivate the first stage to perfection. Now, I'm only one step away from perfection. Previously, Jiyu had only obtained the cultivation manual for the first layer of the Sky Splitter cultivation method. He didn't know where to obtain the rest of the manuals, so he could only cultivate the first layer to perfection at most. Ding! Master has cultivated the first stage of the King Stage technique, Sky Splitter. Obtained experience points, 10,000 asterisk 999 times. Ding! Master has cultivated the first stage of the King Stage technique, Sky Splitter. Obtained experience points, 10,000 asterisk 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The first stage of the King Stage technique, Sky Splitter, has successfully broken through to the greater perfection realm. Jiyu continued to cultivate the technique. Once his mystic chi was depleted, he would consume pills to recover mystic chi. After repeating this cycle for a long time, he finally managed to cultivate the Heaven Splitter technique to the perfection stage. If there were no accidents, Jiyu's physique talent should have increased to the 9th grade of the mortal physique, which was the highest level of the mortal physique. Then, he immediately started to cultivate his profound chi. However, not long after, Jiang Yuechu came again. "Why do you come here every day?" Sensing that Jiang Yuechu had barged into the room, Jiyu said helplessly. "No, I didn't come yesterday," Jiang Yuechu said seriously. Jiyu was speechless for a moment. "All right, you win." The two of them were silent for a while before Jiang Yuechu spoke first. "You should be participating in the alchemy conference in a few days, right? After all, you're also an alchemist." "That's right," Jiyu nodded. This kind of small matter was not considered a secret, and there was no need to deliberately hide it. "Yes, Yueshin and I will be there to cheer for you." Jiang Yueshin looked at Jiyu and continued, "If I'm bothering you, I'll go back now. You're not bothering me, but I do need to cultivate next. You can see for yourself if you want to stay or go back." Jiyu thought for a moment and said, "Then I'd better go back first. On the day of the alchemy conference, I'll go to the Chaoyang branch with Yueshin to look for you." With that, Jiang Yuechu left. Chapter 117. Ding! Master has cultivated martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation gained experience, 10 by 999 times. Ding! Master has cultivated martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation gained experience, 10 by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Martial arts cultivation has successfully broken through to the peak of defensive profound realm level 5. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Martial arts cultivation has successfully broken through to the peak of defensive profound realm level 5. With his 9th rank mortal physique, Jiyu had broken through 2 small realms in less than a day. He was 1 step away from defensive profound realm level 6. However, Jiyu did not plan to continue cultivating his celestial chi. Instead, he planned to find a spacious place to try setting up a formation. Jiyu set off without another word. There was a barren land outside of Chaoyang Ancient City. It was a very suitable place for Jiyu to try setting up a formation. The first thing he did was to take out the support formation diagram, spirit movement formation, from his storage ring. Because he had already learned this formation before, he subconsciously activated the spirit movement formation. Ding! Master has cast the inferior grade 2 formation, spirit formation, formation attainment experience gained, 200 by 999 times. In the next moment, a strange pattern formed under Jiyu's feet. The entire pattern emitted a faint green light. At that moment, he felt his entire body become much lighter. He felt like he was about to float when he took a few steps. To put it simply, this spirit movement formation greatly increased GU's movement speed, so it was a type of support formation. Of course, the support formation did not only increase one's movement speed. Other than that, there were also various support formations that could strengthen one's strength, continuously restore celestial chi, and even temporarily increase one's comprehension. GU had more or less tested out the ability of the spirit movement array. She then put away the spirit movement array. He then took out the defensive formation, rock wall formation. Just like before, he began to cast the rock wall formation. Ding! Master has cast the defensive formation, rock wall formation, formation attainment, experience gained, 200 by 999 times. In the blink of an eye, a brown barrier appeared within a few meters of GU. The rock wall formation floated in mid-air and enveloped GU like an indestructible rock wall. This kind of defensive formation was fundamentally different from a defensive mystic skill. For example, GU had the defensive profound skill, thick earth armor, but no matter what, she could only use the thick earth armor on herself. However, the defensive formation was different. This rock wall formation covered a radius of a few meters. It could accommodate many people and not just protect them. In comparison, this defensive formation, rock wall formation, had a much wider range of uses, but under normal circumstances, it was still more convenient to use defensive profound skills. After all, the casting time of a defensive formation was relatively long, and only defensive profound skills could be released in an instant, which was more convenient for emergency situations. It could be said that each had its own advantages and disadvantages, but there was no conflict. Chapter 118. However, GU didn't plan on using the blazing fire formation as an offensive formation. You could tell what kind of formation it was just by looking at its name. Furthermore, the surrounding area was completely desolate, so it wasn't suitable to use this kind of formation. However, GU suddenly thought that it would definitely be very exciting to use this kind of formation in the Lin family mansion. He couldn't help but feel a little relieved that he didn't use the blazing fire formation here, because these formations were equivalent to one-time use items. For example, the spirit movement array and rock wall array had already been used, so there was no way to use them a second time. After all, if this kind of thing could be used indefinitely, it would be too much of a bug. Now, I'll go back and raise my cultivation level. I'll go to the Lin family mansion and use the blazing fire formation on the day before the alchemy conference. GU thought to himself as the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. After returning to his room, GU continued to raise his cultivation level by cultivating his profound chi. Ding. Master has cultivated martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation experience gained, 10 by 999 times. Ding. Master has cultivated martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation experience gained, 10 by 999 times. Ding. Congratulations, Master. Martial arts cultivation has successfully broken through to the early stage of the 6th level of the defensive profound realm. On the day before the alchemy conference, GU finally raised his cultivation level to the 6th level of the defensive profound realm. At this time, the sky was already dark, so it was time for him to set off. Ding. Master has used the mystic middle-level skill, Myriad Flash. Experience gained from the mystic middle-level skill, Myriad Flash, 300 by 999 times. Using his movement technique, GU silently arrived at the Lin family mansion. At this time, he was standing outside the walls of the Lin family mansion. A formation scroll appeared in his hand. It was the blazing fire formation. Ding. Master has used the lower second rank formation, blazing fire formation, martial arts cultivation experience gained, 200 by 999 times. The formation scroll directly floated in the air above the Lin family mansion. After casting the blazing fire array, GU didn't even stay to take a look before she slipped away. In the next moment, he could hear shouts coming from the Lin family mansion. There was no need for GU to stay behind and watch. This blazing fire formation was only a second-rank formation. At most, it would only cause the Lin family to lose a lot of money. Once the experts of the Lin family arrived, this formation would be quickly dealt with. However, as long as she could make the Lin family suffer, Ji would have achieved her goal. Soon, he returned to the inn and continued to cultivate as he waited for the next day. The next day, the alchemy conference was about to begin. Early in the morning, Ji left for the Chaoyang branch to look for Yu Shuyan. Ding! Master took a step forward, the experience gained from the mystic rank middle-level skill Myriad Flash, 1 by 999 times. Ding! Master took a step forward, the experience gained from the mystic rank middle-level skill Myriad Flash, 1 by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. The mystic rank middle-level skill Myriad Flash has successfully broken through to the perfection stage. When she arrived at the Chaoyang branch, Jiyu's Myriad Flash had also broken through to the next stage. Today, the Chaoyang branch was even more crowded than before. It was so crowded that not even a drop of water could pass through. This was because the Kanglin Empire's annual grand event, the Alchemy Conference, was about to begin here. Jiyu finally managed to pass through the crowd and enter the Chaoyang branch, heading to the room from last time. When he arrived at the room, he found that Yu Shuyun seemed to have been waiting for him. Chapter 119. I'm here. Jiyu greeted her. Yu Shuyun looked up and saw Jiyu. She said, "You came at the right time. I'll tell you the rules of the Alchemy Conference now." Jiyu nodded slightly and listened quietly. When the Alchemy Conference starts later, the single competition will be held first. We won't talk about the rules of the single competition if we don't participate. Yu Shuyun explained in detail. The single competition will end in the morning and the double competition will start in the afternoon. As the name suggests, the double competition is a competition between two people in each group. The rules are very simple. All groups will start refining pills at the same time. The time limit is 4 hours. If you exceed the time limit, you will fail. Finally, the rankings will be based on the grade, quality, and success rate of the pills. The top 10 will not only be able to study in the main association, but they will also be rewarded handsomely. After listening to Yu Shuyun quietly, Jiyu realized that the rules of the Alchemy Conference were much simpler than he thought. Do you have any questions? Yu Shuyun asked. No. Jiyu shook his head slightly. All right, then you can watch the alchemy skills of the alchemy geniuses in the morning. You can perform as usual in the afternoon. There's no need to be nervous. Yu Shuyun said. Jiyu smiled but didn't say anything. It was a joke that he would be nervous. The so-called Alchemy Conference this time was just for him to casually play around. Let's go now. The Alchemy Conference is about to start. As she spoke, Yu Shuyun led the way in front. Jiyu silently followed behind Yu Shuyun. Her mood was relaxed the entire time. Soon, Jiyu arrived at an open-air alchemy venue under Yu Shuyun's lead. The entire venue was huge. At this time, thousands of people had already gathered here. They were all watching from all directions. In the middle was a spacious flat ground with a pile of alchemy furnaces. It was obviously prepared for the competition. Other than Jiyu, no one else had noticed that there was an invisible barrier between the arena and the audience. Not only could this barrier not be touched, it was also impossible to see it with the naked eye. Jiyu only discovered this barrier because she heard the system notification. Ding! Master has viewed the superior third-grade support formation, sound concealment formation, triggering 999 times comprehension ability. Ding! Congratulations, Master. You have successfully comprehended the superior third-grade support formation, the sound concealment formation. Just like the time when she comprehended Xiao Shajin, Jiyu instantly understood everything related to the soundproof array. This was a superior third-grade support formation. Its function was to isolate all sounds that came from outside the range of the formation. This sound concealment formation had an extremely effective soundproofing effect. It was capable of isolating almost all of the voices of the spectators. Even a Tongshin realm expert would find it difficult to pass through this formation. However, A Tongshin realm expert would not purposely disturb the competition for no reason. Furthermore, the alchemy conference was jointly organized by all of the alchemy association branches in the entire Kanglan Empire. No one dared to offend them. Jiyu could not help but sigh. This was indeed a grand event organized by all of the alchemy association branches. They were so generous that they even used a superior third-grade support formation to isolate sounds. However, at this time, the sound concealment formation was not fully activated. It would probably only be activated when the competition officially started. Ji Yu and Yu Shuyun were both participants, so they directly entered the arena to rest. This was also the best VIP area to watch the competition. Chapter 120. The individual competition will begin in a while. You can watch it first. Yu Shuyun sat beside Ji Yu and said, "The alchemy geniuses from all over the place were all trying to get close to each other. Only Yu Shuyun and Ji Yu didn't talk to anyone and just sat there quietly. Yu Shuyun might have a personality problem, but Ji Yu had no interest in talking nonsense with others. Although I may not have the qualifications to say this, but don't you want to get to know those alchemy geniuses?" Seeing that Ji Yu was still unmoved, Yu Shuyun couldn't help but say, "It's always good to get to know more geniuses." "Not interested," Ji Yu said casually. Hearing this, Yu Shuyun didn't continue this topic. "Since the competition hasn't started yet, I'll tell you who our main competitors are this time. First, let's talk about the most powerful enemy this time. You know her too, it's Nangong Maching. She comes from Bright Moon Ancient City, which has an extremely high level of alchemy. Moreover, she's the eldest daughter of the Nangong family. It's said that her alchemy skills have already reached the superior second grade. Not only that, she also mastered the Nangong family's unique skill, which is a superior second grade alchemy hand seal. Therefore, she's our number one competitor." Yu Shuyun said very seriously, but Ji didn't care at all. A mere superior second-grade alchemy master couldn't attract his attention. "All right, have you learned the cyan light seal I gave you last time?" At this time, Yu Shuyun suddenly thought of something and asked. "I've learned it," Ji replied. "Very good." Yu Shuyun's eyes immediately revealed a trace of satisfaction and praise. She really didn't misjudge him. He actually learned the superior second-grade alchemy hand seal so quickly. He really deserved the title of genius. One had to know that when she had learned the azure light seal, she had spent no less time than the other party. However, Yu Shuyun definitely couldn't have imagined that Ji Yu had learned the cyan light seal just by looking at it. Other than Nangong Maching, there are also the two Zhao brothers from the Bright Moon Ancient City. They are twins, and when refining pills, they have telepathy. Their threat level is not much lower than Nangong Maching. Lu Ling from the ancient city of Brilliant Light is also a top figure. His alchemy skills are not much inferior to Nangong Maching's. Yu Shuyun introduced all the stronger opponents to Ji Yu one by one, so that Ji Yu could be mentally prepared. Although Ji Yu wasn't particularly interested, she still listened casually. What made him a little concerned was that when Yu Shuyun mentioned that guy called Lu Ling, there seemed to be a trace of disgust in her tone. From his guess, it should be that Yu Shuyun and that Lu Ling had some unpleasant things in the past. I'll tell you about the opponents that are more threatening to us. As for those alchemy geniuses in the individual competition, we won't meet them, so there's no need to talk about them. Yu Shuyun said. Ji Yu nodded and didn't say anything else. Not long after, the organizer of the alchemy conference, as well as all kinds of so-called alchemy masters, talked nonsense for a while before the alchemy conference officially began. The morning's individual competition immediately began. All the participants participating in the individual competition appeared on the stage. Almost all of them were alchemy geniuses from all over the Kanglan Empire. The surrounding audience immediately cheered. However, at this time, the sound concealment array seemed to have been activated. Ji Yu gradually couldn't hear what was coming from the audience. This was just right. He could fully concentrate on watching the competition. After all, he could improve his own alchemy skills by watching the alchemist refine pills. This time, there were over 100 participants refining pills at the same time. This was a rare opportunity for him to quickly improve his alchemy skills. How could he waste this opportunity? Chapter 121. The rules of the individual competition and the duo competition were basically the same. In terms of time, there was also a time limit of 4 hours. In these 4 hours, almost all the contestants were trying their best to surpass their limits. Among them, there were a few outstanding alchemy geniuses who had already finished refining their elixirs. You could see that the young man who was the fastest was also one of the contestants. The elixir he refined was the best among the superior grade 2 elixirs. If there were no surprises, he should be in the top 10 or even the top 3 of the individual competition. Ding! Master has watched an alchemist refine an elixir. Alchemy attainment gained experience points, won by 999 times. Ding! Master has watched an alchemist refine an elixir. Alchemy attainment gained experience points, won by 999 times. Ding! Congratulations, Master. Master has successfully broken through to become a superior grade 3 alchemist. As the alchemy competition came to an end, Ji had also obtained a lot of experience points and successfully broke through to become a superior grade 3 alchemist. After the individual competition ended, the organizer of the alchemy conference began to announce the rankings. At this time, there was no need for Ji to continue staying. She directly said to Yu Shuyun, "There's nothing else to see now. Let's go." Okay. Yu Shuyun also had no intention of continuing to stay here. She stood up and left with Ji. "Where are we going next?" Ji asked. "Coincidentally, I have an elder who wants to meet you. I'll bring you there." Yu Shuyun thought for a moment and said, "Okay." Ji did not think much of it and replied. Soon, Ji followed Yu Shuyun to a hall. Here, there were many big shots with extraordinary auras. They all looked like grandmasters in the alchemy world. "Seiju, this is the kid who wants to team up with you." At this time, a middle-aged man with a face full of stubble walked over with a bold tone. Yu Shuyun frowned slightly, but she still nodded at the middle-aged man. Then, she explained to Ji in a low voice, "This is an alchemy grandmaster from some alchemy guild. His character is like this. I hope you don't take it to heart." "I understand." Ji nodded in a low voice. Regardless of whether the middle-aged man's personality was like this or not, he didn't take him seriously. To put it bluntly, he couldn't be bothered to pay attention to him. "You brat, are you really a second-grade alchemist?" At this moment, the middle-aged man looked at Ji with a questioning gaze. Before Ji could say anything, Yu Shuyun couldn't hold it in any longer. "Senior, please have some self-respect." After saying that, she grabbed Ji-Yu's wrist and left. "Ha ha! Interesting, interesting." In response, the middle-aged man merely smiled. "I made a fool of myself just now." Yu Shuyun's tone was slightly apologetic. "It's all right," Ji said lightly. "I'll take you directly to my father and the others." Yu Shuyun said. Ji nodded slightly and remained silent. He kept feeling that something was wrong, but he didn't know how to describe it. They just turned a corner in the hall and seemed to have arrived at their destination. Ji was led by Yu Shuyun to a middle-aged man with a dignified face and sword-like eyebrows. Obviously, this man with sword-like eyebrows should be Yu Shuyun's father, the current president of the Chuyang branch, Yu Lingfeng. Chapter 122. "I'm Ji. Nice to meet you, senior." Ji said respectfully. "Not bad." Yu Lingfeng nodded with satisfaction. "I've heard that you're very talented in alchemy. Seeing you today, you're really talented." "Senior is too kind," Ji said modestly. "Let's not talk about this anymore. It's useless to talk about it now. Just perform as usual in the competition this afternoon." Yu Lingfeng said. "You and Shuyun should go and rest. It's better to recharge your energy." Junior understands. Ji nodded calmly. Ji left with Yu Shuyun. However, just as he walked a few steps out of the hall, a sharp voice suddenly rang out from behind him. "Yu Shuyun, is the one who teamed up with you this little brat?" A young man with a feminine face walked over. His tone was sharp and had a trace of disdain. Lu Ling, what does it have to do with you who I'm teaming up with? Yu Shiyun's tone clearly revealed a trace of displeasure. To be honest, you teamed up with this kind of trash and still want to have the opportunity to go to the main association to further your studies. Aren't you too naive and ridiculous? Lu Ling mocked. If you're willing to leave the Chaoyang branch and join this young master's team, then you'll have hope. At the end of his words, Lu Ling's eyes flashed with a touch of greed. Seeing Lu Ling's unscrupulous eyes, Yu Shiyun couldn't help but feel disgusted. At this time, there were many people around, and almost all of their attention was attracted. Isn't that the #1 alchemy genius of the ancient Radiant City, Lu Ling? And Yu Shiyun is also here. What's going to happen? It is said that Lu Ling has been lusting after Yu Shiyun's beauty since a long time ago. Although Yu Shiyun is the #1 alchemy genius in our Chaoyang ancient city, she is still lacking compared to Lu Ling. That is why this happened. The one in the same team as Yu Shiyun seems to be Ji, right? Isn't he a martial arts genius? Why is he participating in the alchemy competition with Yu Shiyun? That's right. That's a little strange. Could it be that Ji also dabbled in alchemy? The surrounding people discussed animatedly. Lu Ling's expression became more and more complacent. If I'm trash, then wouldn't you be worse than trash? However, at this moment, Ji suddenly spoke up. As soon as these words were spoken, there was an uproar in the surroundings. Damn, did I hear wrongly? That guy actually said that Lu Ling is worse than trash? There's really no one who has the guts. Many alchemy masters in the Chaoyang branch have to respect Lu Ling when they meet him. No one dares to be as arrogant as Lu Ling. Isn't that normal? That guy is Ji. Even Chen Yin, who has awakened his acquired spirit body, was defeated by him in 3 punches. But this is a place to compete in alchemy. No matter how strong Ji is in martial arts, what does it have to do with alchemy? At the same time, even Yu Shiyun was a little surprised. She didn't expect Ji to suddenly say such words. Hearing Ji's words, Lu Ling's face immediately darkened. Brat, what did you say? Are you deaf? Do you need me to repeat myself? Ji said coldly. You. Just as Lu Ling was about to flare up, a black-robed old man beside him suddenly whispered a few words to him. Then, Lu Ling actually forcefully suppressed himself. He chuckled and said, No wonder you dare to be so presumptuous in front of this young master. It turns out that you're a martial arts genius. However, no matter how strong your martial arts are, it's meaningless in front of this young master. You better understand that this is a place to compete in alchemy. At this moment, Yu Shiyun felt that things were getting worse and worse. She felt that if this continued, it wouldn't be good for her or Ji. Just as she was about to softly advise Ji not to be rash, she heard Ji say with a calm expression, I'll say it again. Even in alchemy, you're still worse than trash. Chapter 123. As soon as Ji said this, the crowd burst into an uproar again before they could calm down. Holy sh*t, Ji is really King awesome this time. She's planning to fight Lu Ling to the end. She's really awesome. I guess only Ji has the guts in the entire Chaoyang ancient city. She's indeed the genius who killed Chen Yin with the acquired spiritual body in 3 punches. I think it would be best if Ji could really make Lu Ling suffer. That's right, I think so too. Lu Ling still wants to covet Yu Shiyun's beauty. He's definitely not a good person. At this time, the crowd around them had all kinds of opinions. Good, very good. Lu Ling was so angry that he laughed and said, Since you keep saying that I'm worse than trash, let's see who's worse than trash this afternoon. I'm happy to accompany you. Ji said indifferently. From the beginning to the end, he didn't take this guy seriously, so naturally, he wouldn't have any mood swings. At the same time, he also got ready to leave. However, Lu Ling was right in front of him. He said coldly, Get lost. These 2 words made Lu Ling take 2 steps back involuntarily. After all, strength was the real king. Lu Ling knew very well that his strength was far inferior to Ji's, so he was subconsciously afraid of Ji. Ji is really amazing. You made Lu Ling admit defeat just like that. That's right. After all, Ji Yu's martial arts strength is there. No matter how arrogant Lu Ling is, he wouldn't dare to joke about his life. That's not necessarily true. Didn't you see that there's a follower behind Lu Ling? He's definitely not weak. However, without that follower, I think Lu Ling would be scared witless. Hearing the surrounding voices, Lu Ling's face suddenly became very ugly. However, just as he was about to save some face for himself, he realized that Ji Yu and Yu Shuyun had already left. At this time, Ji Yu and Yu Shuyun were already far away. On the way, Yu Shuyun couldn't help but ask, "You just wanted to argue with Lu Ling. Do you even need to ask? He scolded me, so how could I let him go?" Ji Yu said matter-of-factly. Yu Shuyun was slightly taken aback, then laughed at herself in her heart. Sure enough, he was thinking too much. However, Yu Shuyun's expression didn't change from beginning to end, and her mood quickly returned to normal. She continued to say to Ji Yu, "No matter what, don't let this matter affect your mentality. Your mentality is very important." "I won't be affected. Don't worry," Ji said in a calm tone. How could a lowlife who was so arrogant, just because he had a little bit of ability, affect his state of mind? In the afternoon, he would let Lu Ling know what despair was. It won't be the best. After saying that, Yu Shuyun sighed softly in her heart. Obviously, she was still a little worried. Although Ji Yu's alchemy talent was very high, she had only just reached the level of a second-grade alchemist. Even if she added the second-grade, mid-grade alchemy handprint cyan light seal, at best, she could only be comparable to an ordinary second-grade alchemist. As for Lu Ling, although she hated that guy very much, she had to admit that that guy's alchemy attainments were indeed amazing. Not only was he a second-grade superior alchemist, but he also mastered the cyan light seal alchemy handprint. The gap between Ji Yu and Lu Ling was still too big after all. Reality was like this. Chapter 124. After the farce ended, Ji Yu and Yu Shuyun went to eat lunch together. Because of the alchemy conference, the Chuyang branch specially set up a spacious hall as a dining hall for everyone to eat. Ji Yu and Lu Qingwei casually found an empty seat and sat down. However, not long after he sat down, he suddenly heard two familiar voices. Ji Yu, Ji Yu? These two voices were almost at the same time. Ji Yu immediately thought of the two sisters, Jiang Yuechu and Jiang Yuexin. He subconsciously looked back and found that it was indeed Jiang Yuechu and Jiang Yuexin sitting not far behind him. They seemed to be eating. "You're actually here?" Ji Yu said, slightly surprised. He didn't expect to meet the two sisters, Jiang Yuechu and Jiang Yuexin, here. "Why can't we be here? Didn't we say that we would cheer for you today?" Jiang Yuexin said with a slightly dissatisfied tone. Then she continued, "Speaking of which, why didn't I see you this morning? Aren't you going to participate in the alchemy competition?" "I'm going to participate in the 2-on-1 competition. I only had a single competition this morning, so of course you couldn't see me," Ji Yu explained. "I see," Jiang Yuexin nodded. Suddenly, her eyes fell on Ji Yu, who was beside Yu Shuyun. "Are you going to participate in the 2-on-1 competition with this woman?" "Yes," Ji Yu casually replied. Yu Shuyun didn't say a word from beginning to end. She didn't seem to care about Jiang Yuexin's hostile gaze at all. "Why do you want to participate in the 2-on-1 competition with this woman? Can't you participate in the single competition by yourself?" Jiang Yuexin questioned with an alert look in her eyes. Ji Yu didn't know how to explain. Before he could think of what to say, Jiang Yuexin, Jiang Yuechu, who was sitting next to Jiang Yuexin, suddenly spoke. She said slowly with a hint of mockery in her tone, "He must have some unspeakable relationship with Miss Yu." "An unspeakable relationship?" Hearing this, Jiang Yuexin immediately muttered to herself. At this moment, she couldn't help but feel very uncomfortable in her heart. "What are you all thinking? I don't have any secret relationship with her." Ji Yu was a little speechless. "Really?" Jiang Yuexin had a look of disbelief. "Believe it or not." At this time, the food was served. Ji Yu continued, Instead of thinking about these boring things, it's better to eat quickly. No, Jiang Yuexin felt that she couldn't sit like this, so she got up and walked to Jiyu. I'll sit with you and eat. Jiang Yuechu also stood up and walked over. Jiyu didn't say anything about this. After all, this was a 4-person table, so there was no problem with the two sisters sitting together. Yu Shuyun didn't say a word from beginning to end. During the meal, Jiang Yuexin glanced at Yu Shuyun with hostility from time to time. However, Yu Shuyun still didn't move at all and enjoyed her lunch. A few minutes later, the meal was over. Jiyu, you have to do your best in the afternoon. Although Jiang Yuexin was still a little concerned about what happened between Jiyu and Yu Shuyun, she couldn't keep pestering Jiyu about it at this time. Do your best, Jiang Yuechu said softly. Okay, I'll do my best. Jiyu gave them a reassuring expression. Then, Jiyu left with Yu Shuyun. When they were far away, Yu Shuyun finally said, You have to recharge before the competition. Let's go have a rest first. Where are we going to rest? Jiyu asked. Just come with me. Yu Shuyun didn't answer the question directly. Jiyu didn't think much about it and continued to follow Yu Shuyun. Not long after, Jiyu followed Yu Shuyun to the door of a room. At this time, he felt that something was wrong. Why did this room look like a woman's boudoir? Let's go in, Yu Shuyun said as she pushed the door open. Although Jiyu felt that something was wrong, he still followed Yu Shuyun into the room. Because he didn't think that Yu Shuyun would do anything bad to him at this time, he just had a trace of suspicion. Go to bed and have a rest first, Yu Shuyun said. Hearing that Yu Shuyun's voice was as cold as usual, Jiyu didn't think much about it. Entering the house, Jiyu immediately caught a whiff of a faint fragrance in the air. The interior of the house was luxurious yet elegant. Obviously, this should be Yu Shuyun's boudoir. He followed Yu Shuyun's words and walked to the bed and sat down. This was an expensive mahogany bed. When he thought that the owner of this bed was Yu Shuyun, he couldn't help but feel a little strange sitting on it. Then he didn't lie down to rest. Instead, he sat down and closed his eyes to rest. At the same time, he began to cultivate his qi. In fact, this also had the effect of recharging his energy. However, at the same time, what Jiyu didn't notice was that Yu Shuyun was undressing and undressing. Not long after, Jiyu suddenly felt that he was pushed down by a pair of cold and soft hands. His whole body fell back on the bed. He suddenly opened his eyes and saw that Yu Shuyun was actually on top of him. His eyes were instantly filled with shock. What the hell is going on? Chapter 125. At this moment, Jiyu was completely dumbfounded. What was going on? Why did Yu Shuyun suddenly push him onto the bed? At this moment, Yu Shuyun was lying on Jiyu's body with her clothes disheveled. Her soft breasts were pressed against Jiyu's chest, and her cleavage could even be seen. However, Jiyu was so stunned that he couldn't feel anything. If I didn't guess wrongly, you should be hiding your true strength, right? Yu Shuyun raised her head and looked at Jiyu's shocked eyes expressionlessly. It seemed that she didn't care about her terrible state at all. Being in close contact with Yu Shuyun, Jiyu could almost feel Yu Shuyun's cool and fragrant breath. However, how could he care about that now? His secret had already been seen through by Yu Shuyun. How'd I hide my true strength? I just took the recruitment test a while ago. Right now, his brain was all over. His brain was almost about to stop thinking, so he naturally couldn't think before speaking. I'm not talking about martial arts. I'm talking about your alchemy skills. Yu Shuyun was still staring straight at Jiyu. Oh, so you're talking about my alchemy skills. At this moment, Jiyu's brain cleared up a little. He smiled awkwardly and said, I did hide it, but you never asked me before. Yu Shuyun went silent for a moment when she heard this, and then she said, As expected, your natural talent in the Tao of Pills has far exceeded my expectations. How did you find out that I was hiding my alchemy skills? At the same time, Jiyu wanted to push Yu Shuyun off him. However, he realized that Yu Shuyun was sticking to him and wasn't willing to get up. He couldn't use force and was worried that he would accidentally hurt Yu Shuyun. From your conversation with the City Lord's Mansion's second miss, she asked you why you didn't participate in the individual competition. Yu Shuyun spoke her inner thoughts without hiding anything. As the second young miss of the City Lord's manor, it's only right for her to know how intense the competition in the Grand Alchemy Conference's individual competition is. This means that she knows that your alchemy skills are far greater than what I know. Is that all? Yu couldn't help but twitch her mouth. Isn't it a little too hasty to conclude that I've concealed my Pill Dao strength just because of this small detail? Sometimes, a little intuition is enough. Yu Shiyan shook her head slightly. Intuition. Yu shook her head slightly and smiled. Forget it, I'll be frank. My Pill Dao skills are indeed not low, but you don't have to push me down like this, right? Yu Shiyan's figure was really too good. He felt that he wouldn't be able to hold on for much longer. Don't you like it? Yu Shiyan asked. It's a lie to say that I don't like it. Ji said honestly. However, if this continued, he might not be able to hold back and cook the rice. If he really did that, wouldn't he be torn apart by Yu Shuyun's father? It's good that you like it, Yu Shuyun said seriously. If you want, I can also give my body to you. The only condition is that you have to display your true strength in the upcoming competition. Chapter 126. Hearing Yu Shuyun's words, Yu suddenly fell into silence. He couldn't understand this guy. What's wrong with him? Just because she wanted him to show his true strength, she was willing to give her precious first time to him, a stranger that she had barely met? You want me to display my true strength because you want to get the opportunity to join the Alchemist Association, right? Ji was silent for a while before he spoke. That's right. Yu Shuyun nodded sincerely. Why are you so eager to get that opportunity? Ji continued to ask. Because that's my dream and pursuit, Yu Shuyun said, although his tone was cold and flat. It was mixed with a trace of uncontrollable longing and yearning. Looking at Yu Shuyun's incomparably serious and sincere eyes, Yu couldn't see the slightest lie in them. At this moment, he couldn't help but sigh. You don't have to trample on your dream like this. I will definitely let you get that opportunity when the time comes. Ji said. Yu Shuyun couldn't help but be stunned, and his eyes revealed a touch of surprise. Don't you want to get my body? It's not a question of whether I want to get it or not. I'm also a man, of course I like beauty, but I don't want to do that kind of thing to you in this way. Yu chuckled and said, and your first time in life is not a joke. You can't just casually give it to others. No matter what, you have to give it to your other half who will accompany you for the rest of your life. Hearing Yu's words, Yu Shuyun's eyes couldn't help but have a trace of emotion. Her heart also had some subtle changes. She was silent for a while, and then said, I understand. Thank you, Yu. Finally, Yu Shuyun got up from Yu's body. She then sat on the bed and tidied up her clothes. At the same time, Yu finally breathed a sigh of relief. He felt that if it was a few seconds later, he really wouldn't be able to hold it in. Then Yu also sat up, but the atmosphere in the room was still a bit strange. He simply continued to practice martial arts to get rid of the distracting thoughts in his heart. Ding! Master has practiced martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation gained experience. 10 by 999 times. Ding! Master has practiced martial arts for 1 minute. Martial arts cultivation gained experience. 10 by 999 times. At this time, Yu Shuyun had already tidied up her clothes. She looked back at Yu. Her eyes couldn't help but be a bit confused. She didn't know why, but she had an inexplicable feeling that this young man in front of her would be her other half in the future. Time quickly passed quickly, the afternoon's 2-on-2 match. When entering the arena, Yu and Yu Shuyun bumped into Lu Ling again. But this time, Lu Ling seemed to be scared. Other than giving Yu a few provocative looks, he didn't say a word. Yu still couldn't be bothered with him. He walked straight into the arena, not even looking at him. But what he didn't notice was that not far away, Nangong Maching was staring at him. There was an extremely rare look of excitement in his cold eyes. Chapter 127. Yu and Yu Shuyun entered the arena together and began to draw lots. Because of their positions, they had to draw lots. Then, They walked to the position they had drawn. The two of them shared an alchemy furnace. This was also the rule of the two-person competition. Two people in a group would work together to refine pills. Next to the alchemy furnace, there were all kinds of alchemy materials. Ji took a quick look at the list. From Tier 3 pills to Tier 1 pills, there were materials to refine almost all of them. What kind of pill are you going to refine? Now that Yu Shuyan already knew that Ji Yu's alchemy level was very high, she first asked for Ji Yu's opinion. Just choose a 3rd grade lower or 3rd grade middle level pill. Ji Yu seemed very casual. Anyway, whether it was 3rd grade lower or 3rd grade middle level, he was almost sure to win. Yu Shuyan was surprised for a moment, then nodded and said, "Okay, then let's refine the soul recovery pill." The soul recovery pill was a 3rd grade lower level pill. Although she was surprised by Ji Yu's strength, she decided to refine the 3rd grade lower level pill, the soul recovery pill, to be on the safe side. Later, you will be the leader, and I will support you. Is that okay? Yu Shuyan asked again. Now, she was only a 2nd grade middle level alchemist. At most, she was close to a 2nd grade upper level alchemist. It was a little difficult for her to refine a 3rd grade lower level pill. But if she just supported by the side, it was not a big problem. Okay, you just need to support me according to the situation. Ji nodded and said. Originally, he wanted to tell Yu Shuyan that there was no need at all. He alone was enough. But considering Yu Shuyun's feelings, he did not say it. While Ji Yu and Yu Shuyan were talking, all the contestants around them also found their positions. Then, not long after, the two-person competition officially began. Everyone was racing against time to start the alchemy process. Only Ji Yu was not in a hurry. He didn't seem to be in a hurry at all, as he chose the ingredients needed to refine the soul recovery pill. Only then did he begin to refine the pill. Ding! It has been detected that Master has begun to refine the 3rd grade lower class pill, soul recovery pill. The success rate of refining pills has increased by 999 times. At the same time, although the venue was isolated from the surrounding noise, the audience was still in high spirits. The double round has finally begun. Why don't we make a guess? Which team will win first place? I think it should be the Nangong family's team. I heard that Miss Nangong Maching has already mastered the Nangong family's secret technique. This time, she'll definitely be able to suppress everyone. I'm more optimistic about Lu Ling's team. After all, Lu Ling is the #1 alchemy genius in the ancient city of Brilliant Radiance. Speaking of which, what do you think of the fellow who clashed with Lu Ling at noon? What else can we do? I heard that fellow is very strong in martial arts, but in terms of alchemy, he's definitely not as good as Lu Ling. There's no need to even think about it. Many people also nodded. They didn't think highly of Ji Yu at all. At this moment, Ji Yu obviously couldn't hear the voices from the outside world. However, even if he could hear them, he wouldn't care at all. Right now, Ji Yu is concentrating on refining the soul recovery pill. However, with Yu Shuyun's help, his refining speed became even slower. This was because the two of them were too far apart in terms of alchemy and alchemy skills. They were the kind of people who couldn't cooperate at all. If it wasn't for the fact that Ji Yu's alchemy skills had already reached the 3rd grade upper class alchemist level, he might even fail because of Yu Shuyun's help. However, he didn't have any intention of blaming Yu Shuyan. He just quietly refined the pill. However, right at this moment, Ji Yu's eyes suddenly flashed as if he thought of something. He immediately used the cyan light seal. This way, he should be able to cooperate with Yu Shuyan a little. Chapter 128. Ding! Master used the Level 2 Intermediate Alchemy Hand Seal, Cyan Light Seal. Level 2 Intermediate Alchemy Hand Seal, Cyan Light Seal. Experience gained, 300 by 999 times. As expected, the cooperation between Ji Yu and Yu Shuyan was much better now. In less than an hour, a soul recovery pill was successfully refined. If Yu Shuyan was not there to help, Ji Yu's refining speed would be much faster. Ding! Master has successfully refined an inferior grade 3 medicinal pill, soul recovery pill. Pill Dao attainment experience gained. 600 by 999 times. At the same time, some people in the audience were puzzled. That's strange. That's Yushuyun's team, right? Why do they stop so quickly? Yushuyun? I remember that Yushuyun was in the same team as Jiyu, so it's not strange. Maybe they only refined a level 2 inferior alchemy pill, or even a level 1 inferior alchemy pill. It's possible. After all, refining pills is not a joke. It's only been an hour. It's impossible to refine a level 2 intermediate alchemy pill or above so quickly. Ha ha ha. If that's the case, then it's interesting. I think Yushuyun is regretting it now. She actually teamed up with a layman. Many people began to laugh at them. However, Jiang Yuechu and Jiang Yuexin were standing in the crowd. When they heard the laughter around them, they were very unhappy. Especially Jiang Yuexin. She couldn't help but shout, "All of you, shut up. Don't talk bad about Jiyu." Immediately, many people in the crowd were stunned by this shout. Hey, who's that little girl who was shouting just now? Shoo, lower your voice. I heard that she's the second miss of the city lord's mansion in this ancient city. It's better for outsiders like us not to casually provoke her. This girl's looks are not bad. I didn't expect that other than Yushuyun, there would be such a little beauty protecting Jiyu. Yeah, martial arts is indeed the king. Low alchemy skills don't hinder people from picking up girls. I'm so envious. After Jiang Yuexin's shout, most of the people in the crowd did indeed settle down. Only a small number of people were still pointing fingers at Jiyu in private, but they didn't dare to say it too loudly. However, at the same time, Jiyu had already begun to leisurely watch other people's matches. Ding! Master has watched an alchemist refine a pill, alchemy attainment experience gained, 1 by 999 times. Ding! Master has watched an alchemist refine a pill, alchemy attainment experience gained, 1 by 999 times. Other than Jiyu and Yushuyun, everyone else had not finished refining their pills. Jiyu watched others refine their pills leisurely, as if victory was already in her hands. This was also because of the rules of the competition. Before the end of the 4 hours of the competition, no contestant was allowed to leave their position. Once the rules were violated, it would be considered a failure. After all, the biggest taboo for an alchemist in the process of refining pills was to be disturbed by external factors. If someone casually walked around during the competition, it would easily disturb the other contestants. Whether it was intentional or not, it could not be tolerated. At the same time, Yushuyun glanced at Jiyu beside her with a complicated expression. Just now, she had vaguely realized that she seemed to be a burden to him. Not only did she not help Jiyu, she even dragged Jiyu down. Chapter 129. Now, Yushuyun clearly realized how big the gap was between her and Jiyu, so she made up her mind that she must go to the main alchemist guild to study hard. At the very least, she couldn't be a burden to Jiyu in the future. At this moment, Yushuyun's eyes were full of determination, and she was even more determined to achieve her dream. Jiyu, who was wholeheartedly watching others refine pills, naturally didn't notice Yushuyun's strange behavior. Jiyu constantly watched others refine pills and gained a lot of alchemy experience. However, on a high platform not far away from him, there were 4 respected elders sitting on it. They were all important figures who had organized the Grand Alchemy Conference this time. One of the gray-robed elders stared at Jiyu and whispered to the other elders beside him, "I wonder if you found out what kind of pill that black-robed youth refined." "What kind of pill?" "It should be a low-grade or mid-grade second-grade pill." "Why are you suddenly asking this, Elder Yuan?" "I guess it's also a low-grade second-grade pill." "I know the girl next to him. She's only a mid-grade second-grade alchemist. In just half an hour, even if she has someone to cooperate with, she can only refine a low-grade second-grade pill at most. I also have some impression of this girl. She seems to be Yu Lingfeng's daughter. I remember that this girl has a deep obsession with our main association. Unfortunately, she seems to have chosen the wrong partner." The other 3 elders responded one after another. Obviously, They didn't carefully watch Ji Yu and Yu Shuyun's refining process. Otherwise, they wouldn't have not known what kind of pill it was. The gray-robed elder who was addressed as Elder Yuan shook his head slightly. No, no, that youth is holding the soul recovery pill in his hand. When Elder Yuan said this, the other three elders were stunned. Then they exclaimed in unison, "Soul recovery pill?" How could they not know that the soul recovery pill was a kind of low-grade, third-grade pill? Moreover, the difficulty was higher than ordinary low-grade, third-grade pills. Elder Yuan, you must be joking. How could those two little fellows be able to refine an inferior third-grade soul recovery pill? That's right, Yu Shuyun, that little girl is only a level 2 alchemist. It's impossible for her to come into contact with a level 3 medicinal pill, unless that other youth has the ability to easily refine the soul recovery pill. I've heard of that young man before, but he's extremely strong in martial arts. It's rumored that he defeated an awakened spirit body, but I've never heard of him in terms of alchemy. After hearing what the three of them said, Elder Yuan couldn't help but laugh and say, "Hearing you say that, it seems that this young man is an incredible super genius." If these three old fellows hadn't mentioned it, he really wouldn't have known that the youth he had never met before was so stunning. In terms of martial arts, he was able to defeat an awakened postnatal spiritual body cultivator. In terms of alchemy, he was able to help an intermediate grade 2 alchemist refine an inferior grade 3 medicinal pill. In terms of martial arts, there is no need to say much. The words acquired spirit body were enough to prove everything. As for alchemy, for example, a level 2 alchemist wanted to refine a level 2 medicinal pill with the help of a level 1 alchemist. The difficulty was much higher than that of a level 2 alchemist refining a level 2 medicinal pill alone. Not to mention the current situation, it showed that the young man's alchemy level was at least above the intermediate grade 3 alchemist. Otherwise, it was impossible to achieve this level. The other three elders were still confused. Elder Yuan didn't explain much. He just looked at Ji Yu with a smile, as if he had found a rare treasure. However, even if Elder Yuan explained, the three elders probably wouldn't believe it. After all, to possess monstrous strength in both martial Dao and alchemy, it was practically impossible for this kind of prodigy who was skilled in both martial Dao and alchemy to appear. Chapter 130. Ji Yu watched the other contestants refine pills for a full 3.5 hours before the competition finally ended. When the bell rang, the surrounding sound concealment array also gradually lost its effect, and one could hear the clamor of the spectators around them. At this time, most of the contestants had already completed their pill refining, and a small number of teams seemed to have encountered some accidents. All of them were dejected. It was normal for there to be joy and sorrow in a competition, especially that Lu Ling, who seemed to have performed exceptionally well in this competition, with a face full of arrogance. At this moment, Elder Yuan on the stage slowly opened his mouth and said, "All contestants, please hand over the pills that you have refined to this old man." Although his voice was not loud, all the contestants in the arena could hear it clearly. Hearing the old man's words, everyone followed the rules, and Ji Yu was no exception. A few minutes later, everyone returned to their original positions. During this time, Lu Ling continued to provoke Ji Yu with his eyes, but he was completely ignored by Ji Yu. Next, this old man will announce the results of the competition. Elder Yuan continued. 10th place winner, Chilling Ancient Cities Zhao Ke and Zhao Kong. 9th place winner, Falling Snow Ancient Cities with Shinran and Li Zheng. Starting from the 10th place, Elder Yuan announced the results one by one. At first, most of the audience did not pay much attention to it, but when Elder Yuan announced the 3rd place, almost everyone began to listen attentively. 3rd place winner, Lu Ling and Lu Tong from Brilliant Ancient City. As soon as Elder Yuan said this, many people around him were shocked. What's going on? Why is Lu Ling only in 3rd place? Shouldn't he be at least in the top 2? Yeah, I thought I heard wrong. With Lu Ling's alchemy skills, even if he isn't 1st, he should be 2nd, right? Then I guess the first place is that beauty from the Nangong family. And the second place is probably a dark horse that came out halfway. Yeah, I just don't know where this dark horse came from to actually be able to suppress Lu Ling. Not only that, in the arena, Lu Ling was even more surprised. He never thought that he would end up in third place. He could understand why Nangong Maching was at the top of the list, but he could not figure out who was at the second place. Before the start of the alchemy conference this time, Lu Ling practically knew the information of all the participants like the back of his hand. Only Nangong Maching's group's alchemy level was on par with his group. There was no second person who was better than him in alchemy, not to mention that he had performed exceptionally this time. Even the three old men sitting next to Elder Yuan were very surprised. They originally thought that Lu Ling would be either first or second. They didn't expect that he would be ranked third. While everyone was still in shock, Elder Yuan announced the second place. Second place goes to Nangong Maching and Nangong Kuei from Bright Moon Ancient City. At this moment, the crowd was once again in an uproar. F*CK, what's going on with this competition? Even Nangong Maching didn't get first place? This is too strange. Nangong Maching should be firmly at the top of the list, right? Since Nangong Maching is in second place, then who is in first place? Other than Nangong Maching, I really can't think of anyone else who can occupy first place. For a moment, the crowd was filled with discussions. Only Jiang Yuexin's beautiful eyes were filled with joy, because she knew that first place was definitely Jiyu. Although Jiang Yuechu's face did not change, she couldn't help but feel a trace of joy in her heart, because Jiyu had won first place. On the other side, Lu Ling was stunned again. He was stunned on the spot, and his jaw almost fell to the ground. Nangong Maching was ranked second, which was once again beyond his expectations. Including Nangong Maching himself, he couldn't help but be a little surprised. A rare trace of emotion appeared on his cold and emotionless face. Elder Yuan paused for a moment, and his tone became much more solemn as he announced, "Finally, the first place goes to Ji Yu and Yu Shuyun from Chaoyang Ancient City." At this moment, the scene completely exploded and everyone was suffocating. Chapter 131. After being stunned for a while, everyone came back to their senses one after another. I didn't hear wrongly, right? The first place is actually Ji Yu and Yu Shuyun. F*CK. Yu Shuyun is only a second-grade intermediate alchemist, and that guy called Ji Yu is even more so. How could they possibly win against Nangong Maching and Lu Ling? I think they can barely make it into the top 10, right? Cheating. They definitely cheated. I think so too. With Yu Shuyun and Ji Yu's team, it's impossible for them to win against Nangong Maching and Lu Ling's teams under normal circumstances. Sigh. I really didn't expect such a thing to happen in this year's alchemy conference. Very soon, more and more people on the scene suspected that Ji Yu and Yu Shuyun had cheated, and they all claimed that they wanted to seek justice. Lu Ling couldn't hold it in anymore, and said to Ji Yu in a sarcastic tone, "I really didn't expect you to actually dare to cheat in the alchemy conference." However, Ji didn't care about the voices coming from the surroundings. He didn't even look at Lu Ling and directly ignored Lu Ling, realizing that he was being ignored. Lu Ling was instantly even more furious and kept mocking Ji Yu. Silence. However, at this moment, Elder Yuan suddenly shouted, and the surroundings immediately quieted down. Everyone's gaze returned to Elder Yuan once again. According to my judgment, the medicinal pills that Ji Yu and Yu Shuyun refined are third-grade inferior medicinal pills, soul recovery pills. Moreover, the color of the pills is extremely good, and they deserve to be the first place, Elder Yuan said calmly. Elder Yuan said indifferently, "Also, this old man is personally overseeing this competition. If you have any objections, you can confront this old man face to face." Following these words, everyone was completely dumbfounded. All of them were extremely astonished and speechless. The inferior third-grade medicinal pills, soul recovery pills, had extremely good color. They were completely dumbfounded. They simply couldn't believe that Yu Shuyun and Ji Yu had not only refined a level 3 pill, but also used only half an hour to do so. At the same time, Lu Ling was also dumbfounded. Nangong Maching stared at Ji Yu, who was not far away. Not only was there not the slightest bit of unwillingness in her cold eyes, there was even a faint flush on her delicate face. Especially the three old men sitting next to Elder Yuan, they were all extremely shocked. Recalling what they had discussed before, a thought appeared in their minds. Could it be that this young man, named Ji Yu, was really a level 3 intermediate alchemist? If it was true, then this talent was too terrifying. If there are no more questions, let's continue. At this time, Elder Yuan glanced around and continued. The first place reward is 100,000 gold coins and the qualification to study at the Master Alchemist Association. The second place reward is 50,000 gold coins and the qualification to study at the Master Alchemist Association. The third place reward is 30,000 gold coins and the qualification to study at the Master Alchemist Association. The fourth and fifth place rewards. Hearing Elder Yuan mention the rewards, Ji Yu was instantly delighted. He remembered that Yu Shuyun promised to give all the rewards to him. This also meant that he could get all 100,000 gold coins. This was 100,000 gold coins. He didn't even know how many demonic beasts he had to kill to earn this much gold coins. After getting these 100,000 gold coins, Ji Yu wouldn't have to worry about not having enough gold coins for a long time. After the alchemy conference ended, Ji Yu and Yu Shuyun received the first place reward and left the venue together. After that, Yu Shuyun didn't want a single gold coin. All 100,000 gold coins went to Ji Yu. I'm preparing to leave for the Master Alchemist Association tomorrow. Do you want to go with me? At this time, Yu Shuyun suddenly asked. Chapter 132. Ji Yu thought for a moment and replied, I don't plan to go to the Alchemist Guild for the time being. You should go first. Okay. Yu Shuyun didn't act coquettishly. See you then. Just as Ji Yu was about to say something, she suddenly saw a familiar figure walking in front of her. The owner of this figure was Lu Ling. Lu Ling looked dejected and lifeless, as if he was about to die. Seeing this, Ji Yu's lips curled up slightly. Then she said mockingly, Yo, isn't this the famous young Master Lu? How did you become like this? Hearing this voice, Lu Ling finally noticed Ji Yu in front of him. His face was gloomy, and he quickened his steps to go around Ji Yu. However, just as Lu Ling was about to go around her, Ji Yu said calmly, Remember, in my eyes, you'll always be trash. Hearing this, Lu Ling's face instantly turned extremely ugly, but he couldn't refute. At this moment, there was a trace of hatred in his eyes, but it disappeared in an instant. After that, Ji Yu and Yu Shuyun said goodbye. On the way back to Ji Yu's residence, not sure if it was a coincidence or not, she bumped into Jiang Yuechu and Jiang Yuexin. Congratulations, Ji Yu, you've won first place. Jiang Yuexin skipped over and said cheerfully. Ji Yu nodded, then said, Speaking of which, you haven't gone back yet. I thought you guys had gone back long ago. How can we go back so quickly? Jiang Yuechu smiled and said, Yuexin and I are going to cook dinner for you later to reward you. You don't misunderstand. Jiang Yuexin turned her face away and said shyly, I just saw that you were tired the whole afternoon, so I wanted to let you relax. Ji Yu's face suddenly stiffened, and the corners of his mouth twitched slightly. I think we should forget about it. There's no need to trouble you guys. How is this a F** king reward? This was simply torture. If it was just Jiang Yuechu alone, it would be fine. After all, her cooking skills had improved a lot. However, with Jiang Yuexin, it would definitely be an unsightly dark cuisine. Let's go back quickly. However, Ji didn't care about Ji Yu's opinion. She reached out and hugged Ji Yu's left arm, then pulled Ji Yu directly. You. Seeing this, Jiang Yuexin became anxious and hurriedly chased after him. She forcefully suppressed her shyness and snatched Ji Yu's other arm. Just like that, Jiang Yuechu hugged Ji Yu on the left and Jiang Yuexin on the right. Along the way, they attracted countless envious gazes. Damn, Isn't that Jiyu? He's even being hugged by the two sisters from the city lord's residence. Looks like those two sisters are jealous of each other. I really have to give it to them. F***CK. It's really infuriating to compare oneself to others. Not only is he inferior to him in terms of martial arts, but his attainments in alchemy are also inferior to him in terms of picking up girls. However, Jiyu couldn't feel happy at all, because what lay ahead was hell. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.